evening, everybody. Nice to have you company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Welcome to Thursday Night Motorsport with a difference this time round. And welcome to Spreyton Cider Formula V from the Sebring International Raceway in Florida, but not the circuit that we would normally run on here, not the configuration at least that's more commonly associated with the 12 Hours of Sebring, but instead the Little Club circuit that will host the penultimate round of Spreyton Cider Formula V. And then, of course, we get into Super Formula Lights from Road America over 60 minutes.
G'day and welcome
the penultimate outing of their season as well, as Spreyton Cider Thursday Night Motorsport explodes for the second to last time in Term 2 of 2024. Good evening, everybody. I'm Zach Cabin. Different co-pilot with me tonight. Joe Baldwin in the house. El Presidente. We're very excited about that. We're gearing up for the first race of the night, Formula V. Let's have a look at the grid for you. And we can tell you that John Merritt's on the front row alongside Chris Noble, Glenn Riddell, and also Aaron Russell there on the second row. He's been in solid form the last couple of weeks. Fred Kahn, Nick Wood from row number 3, row 4, Sam Chapman, Adam Proctor, row 5, Jonathan Hooper and Phil King. As you can see there, June 13, 2024, 25 past 1 of the afternoon, 17 km/h winds. 27 degrees the ambient, and the track temperature is double that, if you don't mind. Jonathan Hooper, Phil King from row 5, Brian Tate, Kevin Henderson, Darren Harris, Adam Lavis, Lane Coburn, Steve Murray, Kurt Nomanson, Brett Bradbury, Tim Puget, and Aidan Schultz take us back to 20th. They're the first 10 rows of the grid. The 11th row is Brendan Nealon and our own Pete Matson. 12th row, Sean McKenzie, Robert McGrath, and then, of course, we're waiting to see if Wayne Visser will join the grid. We know that our good mate Sam Stride will be in race control. We're ready to rock and roll. The first of 3 for the night here from Sebring. A new look for us, because normally, as you can see there, that's the circuit, 2.65 kilometres, is a little mini cauldron. Normally, we go racing on the full-length circuit around here at about a 2-minute lap time for the Porsches alone, let alone what these things would take. So, it's a short, tricky... Times have been incredibly tight during qualifying. Now we're gearing up to go racing for the first of 3 tonight. Set to go now, lights ablaze. Front row is John Merritt and Chris Noble, Glenn Cedo from the second row. This championship fight well and truly alive. We'll get to that in a moment. Away we go. Clean start. The Pulse boys are going to go 1 and 3. Noble's going to split them to turn 1. Sitting in behind them is Aaron Russell, Fred Kahn and Nick Wood as well. And Noble immediately on the attack up to the outside. Have a look at that. Already on the attack is Chris Noble on John Merritt. Couldn't get the job done. So, Joe Baldwin, good evening to you. Now, I'm just trying to work out the correlations between, or the similarities between you and my regular co-driver, the great man Daniel Correa-Sarr. The extension of Dan is Daniel, that's 6 letters, so the original is 3, and the extension of Joe, when I went to school, was Joseph, so that's 3 and 6 letters as well, and that's about it. Good evening. Yeah,
good evening, mate. How you going? Sorry for the truncated start to the broadcast tonight, guys. Unfortunately, we have had some family issues for Dan Sarr, so he wasn't available tonight. So at short notice, we've got in, and we're going to do the best we can, mate. It's a little bit busier in the V's than it is for what I'm normally doing, but we'll do the best we can.
Indeed, we will. Have a look at this already. Chris Noble, have a look at him 3 wide, if you don't mind. Cedo and Merritt want a piece of that as they run down to the hairpin. Aaron Russell's in there as well, and up around the outsides, Fred Kahn, but Merritt still prevails. That was the end of lap 1, and have a look at him. 7 deep in the fight for the lead. And, oh no, Russell into the back of Cedo. Russell into the back of Cedo. Chapo was nearly caught up in that as well. And that has gifted John Merritt and Chris Noble a little bit of breathing space here. And that has massive ramifications on the championship fight. Cedo's back down to 13. Caught up in drama for the second week on the trot. Can you believe it? Oh, more trouble, more trouble. So Glenn Cedo has avoided that one. Kurt Nomanson got caught up in that. So too did Tim Puget and Aidan Schultz. Darren Harris has been caught up, and Steve Murray's been caught up. Brendan Nealon, Kevin Henderson, Robert McGrath, all on the tow rope in the early stages. And there is Aidan Schultz looping it with some help from Kurt Nymanson. And unfortunately, I mean, Kevin Henderson, Brendan Nealon, it looks as though they've just come in for a fast repair and got back out there. That's good. Steve Murray now showing off the road. Robert McGrath remains on the tow rope. Now, Joe, you might be able to give us a little bit of some intel here. Oh, geez.
Well, it's the slightest nudge in the back.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything in it. It was just, yeah, absolutely terribly unlucky for Glenn. We've got 3 races tonight, though, so he can still get himself a big bunch of points.
Indeed he can, and let's hope he does. Championship coming into this round. I'll just run through these so that you can continue watching the racing on the screen there, folks. Listen to the audio on this one so that you can jot these down at home and follow along. 4:55 for Cito, 4:31 for Chapo, and 4:20 for Adam Lavis. Forget about everybody else. It's about those 3 men. And Adam Lavis at the moment, I have to say, is in 10th place. We remember as well, it's taken me all season to wrap my head around it, but we remember that we've got a full invert of the grid for the second race, which will be hairy around here given what we've seen thus far. And we've also got, as we head towards the end of the 3rd lap here, it's about a 1:20 lap time around here, so that's going to get us somewhere in the vicinity of 8 laps of racing in this opening heat. And then from there, the mathematics will work it out for the remaining couple of races tonight. Should be about 11 laps, just thinking out loud. Have a look at Aaron Russell in 4th in the meanwhile. He may have an invoice to pay as per that contact with Cito. And look at Fred Kahn and Chris Noble banging wheels as well. Oh my goodness me. So that second race promises to be hairy. There's no doubt about that, because this is a tight little version of the Sebring circuit that we know and love, unless you're Nick Fodiatis, of course. Good evening to the great man. And as you can see there, it is, we are racing on a significant chunk of the full circuit here. So we'll let Sam Chapman explain this one a little bit later on. Good choice so far to go a shorter configuration of the Sebring circuit for these cars. The second race, the finishing order, we just flip the top 10 around. We go invert top 10 for race 3. So unfortunately for Adam Lavis, sitting 9th at the moment, the invert's going to do him no favours whatsoever in race 1, but it could well do him some favours in race 2 to 3. John Merritt, a leader from Chris Noble. Aaron Russell is 3rd and Fred Kahn is 4th. And we are following the battle for 9th with Adam Lavis at the forefront of it. Phil King. Oh, look at Glenn Cito making light work of Nick Wood up on the outside there to go into 11th. So the 3 championship combatants are all in the thick of action here. Sam Chapman's in a real aggressive fight for positions 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 at the moment. And look at Cito now trying to get down on the inside. Oh, gee, then he got into the back of Adam Lavis there and nearly wiped him out. Nick Wood's trying to get up there on the outside. Look at Lane Thoburn wanting a piece of it as well. John Merritt has been passed by Chris Noble. Noble's got his way to the front. Whoa, still close between Wood and Lavis. And Cito's got the upper hand at the moment. Geez, all to play for here. Chapo's well placed to have a crack at Cito. Lavis needs to keep beating Cito if he's going to be a chance at the end of this. But as we saw last week, it got quickly flipped on its lid at the circuit. Gilles Villeneuve for Cito. He had an absolute turd of a night. A couple of incidents that he was involved in, and it was quickly noted that that would be a drop round for him. He hasn't got too many of them to fall back on at this point in time. 6.5 minutes gone. Merritt and Noble have taken off. Russell's defending the rest. Have a look at Fred Kahn trying to get up on his outside. We're right on board with Noble chasing Merritt. We go back to Fred Kahn. We'll stay here for the moment. 3 wide. Have a look at Chapo down on the inside and booked off them. As Russell and Kahn bang wheels again, and Chapo says, thank you very much, boys. I'll go to 3rd.
There's so much going on here. I'm trying. I mean, when we do the SRXs on a Friday night, Zach, we get a bit of action, but they normally spread out a little bit. But tonight, there's so many close battles. I'm like, who do I click on? Where do I go? And it's, this is great racing. And it doesn't matter. Oh, we got one around in the background.
Yep, we do. That was Adam Proctor. Adam Proctor's plummeting down the order. Let's hope he hasn't taken too many with him in that. It looked as though he was veering off racing line.
I think he just got in and just got loose on his own, did he?
Oh, Brett Bradbury and Pete Matson have also shown us off track as well, Joe. Brett Bradbury's still off track and now down the order, and that's unfortunate for Adam Proctor. Oh, he did well. Cito did particularly well. He was the first on scene there to the blind sitting Adam Proctor, and that was how Brett Bradbury got sent. There you go. Oh, geez. Unlucky for Brett Bradbury.
Oh.
Bang.
Just, unlucky.
Look, to be fair, I think that was Phil King that got into the side of him, wasn't it? And in Phil's defence, I mean, he was obviously right on his bumper, may not have been anticipating Bradbury to pull the anchors on when he did and where he did. We'll wait and see what comes of that from race control. Fred Kahn, meanwhile, 5th place. Sam Chapman is 3rd. And just by the by, ladies and gentlemen, it's the first Thursday night all season in which we haven't had AFL. But we still do have NRL to bring you up to speed on throughout the course of the night. And how good's the bloody swimming been? The Australian Olympic trials underway, night 4 of 6. We'll stay across that as best we can as well. In the meantime, here is Fred Kahn chasing Sam Chapman and Aaron Russell in there as well. I was going to say, Joe, I know you're a newbie to Thursday Night Motorsport in terms of being in the director's chair, so stick with me. If we notice anything of particular prominence that we want to get you to flick to, I'll just signal you. All right, I'll give you a verbal. I'll give you a verbal prompt.
So we've got battling up the front here.
Yeah, Merritt swap back around with Noble. Let's go with those guys for the moment, Joe, because when they get to the line, they'll see the white flag. The last lap board will be out. So let's go with these guys right now. Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Terrific to have you along for the ride. The broadcaster nearly wasn't, thanks to Joe for coming to the rescue. Here is Noble up the outside as we start the final lap. Now, I'm not sure if this configuration of the circuit has Barney's attention or has Barney's appreciation or respect, so he might not actually be on deck tonight. We'll wait and see.
Find out. I can see the button.
It wouldn't surprise me if he's not.
I can see the button, so we'll see whether or not Barney's arrived at the track. He might be sitting back watching the race as well, because there's a heap of action going on. A lot of close stuff in the mid-pack as well, but we'll get to that.
Indeed we will. Let's follow Noble for the moment. Noble against the Prince of the V's in John Merritt. He really is the master of this craft. And, yeah, Greg Brooks is right. Chubbo has got a challenge, but in saying that, he did well to come through from 7th on the grid. By the point of time in which he got to these boys up front, they were gone. They had bolted. Merritt to the outside to try and get the win in the latter stages. Merritt outside of Noble. Noble goes deep. Merritt around the outside. Noble sideways. Merritt's got his nose in front. Merritt around the outside. Still going. John Merritt, have a look at this. Noble down the inside there, side by side. Get ready with the photo, ladies and gentlemen. No, Merritt's coming him off. Back to the outside goes Noble. Merritt got it. Merritt got it by 300ths of a second. Aaron Russell and Fred Kahn have both pipped Chapo in the run to the line. A 10th of a second separate those three. Extraordinary stuff. Have a look at that. Photos all round. 400ths of a second splits Glenn Cito and Adam Lavis, and it's advantage Cito in the championship fight, especially with Chapo losing 2 spots in the run to the line. Aaron Russell and Fred Kahn have swamped on him and swooped at the worst of possible moments for Sam Chapman and the best of possible moments for Glenn Cito Riddell. How about that? John Merritt, 300ths of a second over Chris Noble. The Maestro does it again. Noble, he can't buy luck in this thing at the moment. And of course, Aaron Russell has been a standout performer in the last couple of weeks in Formula V's. Frequently been on the highlight reel, and he will be again there. Fred Kahn, Sam Chapman. The comment was made that Chabo was going to have his work cut out. More so now. I mean, the horse had already bolted with regards to Merritt and Noble. He was never going to catch them in that shorter time around here when everybody's so evenly matched on time. But, Joe, I guess he does have a slender advantage this time around in the sense that he will be starting 3 positions ahead of both of them. But the problem for everybody else is going to be weaving their way through because we've put the slowest guys at the front and the fastest guys at the back for a full invert, full reverse grid race.
Yeah, that's right. It's you look there. So here's the finish from race 1. You look, Nick Wood. Oh no, this is a full invert, isn't it? So Kevin Henderson, he must have had a shot.
Don't worry, it's only taken me 9 weeks to get my head around that as well.
Yeah. So Kevin Henderson, he's going to be starting up the front. So our the grid, that's going to be this is going to be a bit of a wild one, I think, Zach. No,
yep, so
I'm not
at
on the
the
front, by the way, people.
No, that's right. Aidan Schultz hopefully will join the server and start from pole, but he might have already seen himself out. Robert McGrath, Steve Murray, Brett Bradbury, Brendan Nealon, Kevin Henderson, Tim Fuchs, Pete Matson, Wayne Vizard, Darren Harris and Kurt Nomenson are the top 10 on the grid as you see it there on your screen. We're not going to get to everybody else because we're about to go racing. Revs rise, cars roar, let's go to work. Clean getaway. No Aidan Schultz. He's already parked up and gone for the night.
Starkey makes a good point there in the chat.
He certainly does. And he always makes good points. Maybe he should just jump in the commentary box.
He should do. He's always welcome. He knows that. But it's, as we've seen in the last race, Glenn said Riddell, he's right up there in the championship and he by his own standards, who was that?
Oh, trouble. Oakland gone. Confusion. Kevin Henderson are gone. That was Fuchs that was upside down and Hendo went with him. Hendo went out in sympathy. And all that talk about Hendo has blown up in smoke in the first 20 seconds, Chuck.
It has. We'll try and get how do we get back to that one?
We'll need a little bit. Oh, and Adam Lavis is falling down the order as well. Adam Lavis is in trouble, and so too Kurt Nomenson. There has been an enormous amount of action on this opening lap. This is what happened to Adam. Oh, Kurt Nomenson spun right in front of him, had nowhere to go. Robert McGrath. Oh, geez, have a look at this. Bradbury in there as well. Oh, it is all happening at Sebring. I love this circuit. I know Nick Fodiatis to test the thing with a passion, but I absolutely love it.
He certainly does, and he doesn't mind telling people either. It's one of those places.
Oh, more trouble! Into the wall. Steve Murray, Darren Harris are gone. There have been that many incidents on the opening lap. It's hard to keep up with them. And Adam Lavis is on the pit lane on the tow rope, and that could be his championship done.
There's so much going on, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to keep up with everything. It's not coming up. So we've got
that's all right. Oh, geez, Lane Thoburn getting a help through the corner from his teammate Chris Noble. No holds barred there between the teammates. Phil King on Noble's outside. We'll try and stay across it for you as best we can, folks. We'll try and get some replays in just a moment.
Wayne Vizzer, he's had one.
Righto.
So that's what's happened to Viz.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Wayne Vizzer was also caught up in that.
Yeah,
good pick up from you, Joe.
Looks like he might have been. I don't know what. I'm trying to find. Here we go. Here's what happened to Adam Maverick. If it's going to play, here we go. So heads is up over the curb.
Yep, that's fine.
Let's give him a bit of nowhere to go.
Yeah. Nomenson was sliding and was halfway through the slide, and poor old Adam had nowhere to go. No hope. Right now, Glenn Cito's punched out the fastest lap of the race, 1:18.966. And hopefully we'll find out as well somewhere along the way what happened to Darren Harris and Steve Murray, because by gee, that was an enormous shunt for them as well. In the meantime, back we go to Lane Thoburn. The leader of the race at the moment is still Robert McGrath. How good's that? Robert McGrath from Brett Bradbury, Sam Chapman up to third. Chapo's up 19 spots. Sean McKenzie, and that good to see him back in the server. Glenn Cedar, Nick Wood, Adam Proctor, Pete Matson, Lane Thoburn, and Chris Noble in the top 10. Aaron Russell is 11th, and John Merritt is 12th. And championship implications because Adam Lavis has got back out onto the racetrack, but by gee, he is right at the back of the order in 20th, remembering that if he can get through to 10th, he'll get the invert pole position for race 3, but that is a long way off at this point. Oh, Aaron Russell down the inside, more trouble. Oh, geez, they just barely got away with that. Did Russell and Noble, my goodness. Russell and Matson. That was Pistol Pete, my apologies. Very similar colours there.
There's been a bunch of guys that have been through the pits. We've had Steve Murray, Wayne Visser, Darren Harris. They're three of the guys that have been through just before. Obviously, we've had Adam went through the pits before after his incident. So it's been a bit of a crazy race. But up the front, Brett Bradbury and Rob McGrath. Who have they got there from? That's Chapo. Chapo's just come through. Chapo's taken second away from Brett Bradbury, so he's on a charge to try and get maximum points in race 2 here to get his championship back on track.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, Chapo and Riddell, second and fourth. Oh no, more trouble. Matson, Russell and Khan. Matson, Russell and Khan. Oh dear. Matson was running about 9th or 10th. Trouble between, oh geez. Fred Khan's come through and cleaned him up. I reckon there's more to that. We probably need to go back maybe 3 or 4 seconds further, but yes.
Yeah, that's...
Fred Khan is on the tow rope, and so is Aaron Russell, and Pete Matson will need to go and get a faster there, I would imagine. Oh dear. Here's Phil King.
Oh, there we go. Oh, he's jumped up over the wheel.
Oh, jeez.
They've just tobogganed it down and taken a few out on the way through. So,
I tell you what, save the replay, somebody, because there were highlight reels for weeks to come in this race alone, let alone anything we've seen. And by highlights, I mean crash highlights, ladies and gentlemen. It has been fantastic. Sam Chapman finds his way to the front. Robert McGrath is second, under pressure from Cito and Nick Wood, and Brett Bradbury and Chris Noble in sixth, up 19 spots. Chapo's up 21 on an absolute charge.
So
back we go to Cito.
Cito, right up on Rob McGrath's gearbox. Oh, he's going to the outside down here. We want to be brave on the brakes down here to get that job done.
Indeed. And
he's got it done too.
Very nicely done. Will he take Nick Wood with him? No. Starkey and I were thinking in sync there. Very nicely done. Daniel Snedden tuning in as well. Painful to watch for Sneddo. I'm sure it's painful to watch for a few others as well, mate. Don't worry about that. Down the outside. McGrath can't keep Nick Wood at bay any longer. Chris Noble's there as well, so too John Merritt, Sean McKenzie, Brett Bradbury, Lane Thoburn. I'm on Adam Lavis watch. He's down in 18th at the moment. A long way from where he needs to be. Off goes Adam Proctor. Adam Proctor has gone off the road. Down back to 15th position now is Adam Proctor. We stay with the leaders, we focus on them. This is lap 6 of what we anticipate will be 11. But it could, actually, I'll tell you what, it could go 12. I'm just having a look at the times here. 1 minute 18. Remembering 1 minute 20 gives you 3 laps every 4 minutes, so that would give you 12 and 16. So they should actually get back to the line. They should actually get back to the line, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. Somewhere in that 15th minute of play to take us into overtime with the 12th lap.
Yeah, a couple of the guys are saying Merritt's hanging back. I don't know if any of you guys have raced against Merritt. He's not one for hanging back. He's up to 5th at the moment, so he, Brooks has just picked that up. Yeah, John will make his way to the front. He's about 1.8 seconds behind Noble at the moment, so he's on a tear.
And you and I have watched enough of this caper over the years, Joe, to know full well that if this top 4, which is now being led by Glenn Cito, the championship leader, if this top 4 keeps squabbling, Hot Lap will be on them in a flash. Thoburn is 6th, holding off Brett Bradbury. Sean McKenzie, Ryan Tate and Jonathan Hoover make up the top 10 at the moment. Everybody beyond 13th pretty much out of contention here because of the high margins between these cars. Robert McGrath, Adam Proctor, Darren Harris, Brett Card, Aaron Russell still sitting on pit lane, feeling rather sorry for themselves. Here we go. Chapo up the outside, or will he go the inside on Cito? Cito gave him no choice. Said, if you want to go by me, you've got to go the long way round. Go the long way round, he does. And he takes Nick Wood with him. Have a look at, is that Thoburn or Noble? It's Noble. Up on the inside, trying to get by on Wood. And he couldn't get it done just yet, but they're 2 by 2 through the dog leg.
Cito with the elbows out for sure. He wants this race win on the points. He knows Chapo's up there with the points. So, and unfortunately, he missed one of his teammates this week.
Exactly.
Yeah, Tony Baker, unfortunately, in the incident with Glenn last week, actually tipped himself over the incident point limit. So, I'm sure Tony's tuning in. No doubt he's out there seeing how his teammates are going. So, and more than likely wishing he was involved. Just, yeah.
I thought Nick Wood was going to try and force the issue and make it 3 wide. And look at Noble. Look at Noble just pushing Cito through. But all he's done is compromise his own and Cito's run, actually, because Nick Wood's gone to second. And look who's right there. Hello, John Merritt. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. Chapo, Wood, Riddell, Noble, Merritt the top 5. Forget about the rest at the moment. Keep your eyes peeled on some of the best in the business here, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across the line we go. Next time by will be the end of lap 8. And as I say, I just get the feeling, I'm looking at the clock here, I need to keep an eye on the clock because the clock will determine whether we get to 12 laps or whether we get to 11. Have a look at when they cross the line. If we're this side of 4 minutes to go, we'll get 4 in. Across the line they go. There it is. There's the start-finish line. You can't actually see it. It's a figment of your imagination on this circuit, ladies and gentlemen. And therefore, as a result of that, yes, we'll get 3 laps in before the white flag will fly, which will be in the final seconds of the final minute. So there is a little bit of overtime to come here, and look at Chapman getting absolutely pounced on now by both Riddell and Merritt. Merritt up the outside, can't get it done. This has championship implications all over it, ladies and gentlemen. Remembering that coming into the round, Riddell was 24 points clear of Chapo, who had 11 on Adam Lavis. You can just about put a line through our good mate, unfortunately, because of that early incident in race 2 here. He is sitting down in 16th place, but trying to fight his way back through. But it's not going to be good enough to get him up to 10th. For the invert top 10 of the grid for race 3, unfortunately. So Lavis with a lot of hard work to do. Here comes Noble down the inside. No, pulls out of it. And the top 5 all follow one another through nose to tail line astern. Oh boy, Joe, 3 laps to go and I'm out of breath.
Yeah, there's plenty of racing going on through the field, but when you've got a race like this up the front, it's just one of those things. Oh, here we go, Cito's made a move out.
And Wood wants to go to the lead. Cito, Wood, Wood went very deep. Look at Wood holding on around the outside. Will he take Noble with him up the inside? Oh, yes, he will. Chapo. Oh, boy. Now Riddell and Merritt, 3rd and 4th. Riddell went tight and Merritt went wide. Now here comes Noble down Merritt's inside. Both the Pulse boys had better be careful here because they're both trying to keep Noble at bay. So they had 2 lanes going there for a moment and Noble had no way through. 2 laps to go at the line, gentlemen. Here we go. Strap yourself in. And
no, we have no Barney either. Even the button to go to that camera, it doesn't work. So I'd say Barney is... he's off sitting watching as everybody else is. Oh, look at this, here we go.
Noble. No.
He's having a go.
Barney's a figment of your imagination tonight, ladies and gentlemen, so no different to half the season already. A minute and a half to go. They come across the line. They'll start the penultimate lap. Lap 11 to 12 here, ladies and gentlemen. And it is Nick Wood leading Sam Chapman, but not for long. Chapo down the inside to the lead at turn 1. Wood wants to force the issue and hang tough around the outside. Noble hangs him out to dry. Merritt is in there as well. Cito down the inside of Chapo. Cito up the outside. Oh boy, Merritt down the inside. He's staying out of it because he's trying to push Cito along. He's playing the teamman game here at the moment. The teammate tactics are alive and well. We knew that Merritt would have a role to play here in terms of helping Cito out as best he could, try and secure the championship for Pulse Tuning. Even though Merritt couldn't win the title this time round because he missed too much of the season, the championship could well stay in the stable. Geez, they're a good, talented bunch, those Pulse boys.
Yeah, look, they're pretty deep with the talent there. They've got, I mean, look, Merritt and Riddell, they're always at the forefront of any of the racing they do, be it sedans, GT1s, Formula cars. I mean, normally Formula cars aren't really the cars that Merritt gets involved with, but when he does, even for a bit of fun, he's always quick. Doesn't matter what you put him in. So we must be on the last lap here, I think, or coming up.
We're about to be.
Start the last lap now. There we go.
White flag in the air one more time, around 15 seconds on the clock. And still, any one of these five a chance of winning it. Look at Chapo and Cito side by side. Nick Wood's getting away from them. Noble's just snuck by Merritt. So it's Cito and Chapman fighting it out for second. Can anyone catch Nick Wood? I'm not sure they can. And of course, Chapo and Noble fighting it out with John Merritt in there. 4 and 5 latching on to to Chapman and Riddell right now. So it's a four-way fight for second, and Wood has not been able to escape. He's not been able to break clear just yet. So Cito's right there making a huge play for Wood. Through the left-hander they went. Now that long sweeping right-hander. They've caught Nick Wood. Nick Wood's got to get on the defensive here or he could be hung out to dry. Cito goes down the inside. Cito makes a lunge for the lead. Cito going down the inside, moving for the lead. Chapman, Noble on the outside. Chapman down the inside. Noble's gone. Forget about Noble. And then there were four. Riddell, Wood, Chapman, Merritt, under the line. Riddell's got his nose up the inside. Riddell's going to get the job done, I think. Can Cito get the job done? Yes! Cito holds on. Edges out Nick Wood by 0.04 of a second. There was the same margin back to Chapo and also John Merritt. How important is Nick Wood in the middle there of Cito and Chapo for Cito's aspirations of championship success? Oh dear, another classic.
There's a great saying in racing, if that didn't get you excited, you haven't got a pulse. What a race. That was fantastic. But, you know, unlucky for Noble there on the last lap to just get in a little bit deep and make, you know, sort of propped up and pinched the rears, trying not to make, you know, any significant contact and keep it clean. But wow, that was absolutely magic. So yeah, great racing by everybody up the front there. We didn't get to the mid-pack much, but oh wow, that was fantastic stuff up the front. But this next race is going to be a bit of a cracker, I think. We're going to have a lot of the guys are going to be at the back of the top 10, and they're going to want to try and make their way up. So there, have a look at the gaps.
Have a look at the margins.
Wow.
Have a look at the margins. 0.123 between first and fourth. 0.07 between first and third. Some of the tightest racing you'll ever see all week, every week here on the platforms of the GSRC. Magnificent. Take a breath. Breathe a sigh of relief, ladies and gentlemen, that everyone got through that relatively unscathed. The only one that lost out in the end was Chris Noble, but he still came home fifth, just ahead of his teammate Wayne Thoburn. Then just remind you of the results of race one. Merritt from Noble. So again, 0.037 the winning margin in race one, and 0.041 I think it was the winning margin in race two. Just extraordinary stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we've got a running. No, it doesn't work. Sorry, guys. I was hoping that we were going to get a running thing of the points so far tonight, but it's not. No. Yeah. That's okay. No. Unfortunately, it's not going to work. So
that's all good.
So, but when we look at the track here, it looks like it's actually cooled off a little bit from when we got here earlier on at 27 degrees.
Only 2 degrees.
Yeah.
It was 54 earlier.
Yeah, wow. So it'll be a lot better, a lot more grip for the guys in this race that's coming up. But I tell you what, Zach, that's been a crazy race. Like it's part of me is disappointed that I didn't get to be a part of it. I would have loved to have been involved in that battle there. That's why I was in the server. But I tell you what, I think it's probably a little bit easier sitting in here and pushing buttons than it is being involved out on the track. That was looking pretty crazy. So probably a bit of a precursor for what we've got coming up in the next one.
Yeah. I'll ask you this. Starkey's asking a question which I can't answer at the moment. I can only give you the points as they were before the race got underway, which was 455 for Cito, 431 for Chapo, and 420 for Adam Lavis. Just as the cars line up on the grid for race 3, the grid's going to come up for you, ladies and gentlemen. Top 10 invert: Jonathan Hooper, Sean McKenzie to lead us away, Ryan Tate, Brett Bradbury, Lane Thurburn, Chris Noble, John Merritt, Sam Chapman, Nick Wood, Glenn Cito, the top 10 on the grid. Nealon, Hendo, King, Lavis, Matson take us back to 15th, and I'll let you have a look at the rest of it for yourself from there. Yes, Starkey regretting taking the extra shift at work, but that's okay. That's a little bit of extra Christmas spending money, my friend. Joe, you've watched me commentate Hyundai Excel racing in person. Now you've had the experience of listening to me call Formula V. Your thoughts? Because there's a lot of people that say that both are just as entertaining as the other.
Oh, look, trying to keep up with you here, like having to push the buttons and keep up with the voice is it's not as easy as it seems, people. So, for a rookie, I mean, I'm probably jumping around a little bit, but trust me,
you're doing well.
I am doing the absolute best I can at the moment. So we'll
doing a great job.
Hopefully, it's as entertaining on the other side of the screen as it is from behind here as we're about to get going.
Set to go. Race 27 of the championship. Race 3 of round 9. Spreyton side of Thursday Night Motorsport. Formula V. Let's go. The main course with dessert to follow from Road America for round 9 of Super Formula Lights. Great start from Jonathan Hooper, who converts nicely and holds sway. Tucks into the position of the lead in turn 1 there, ahead of Sean McKenzie, Ryan Tate, Brett Bradbury. Chris Noble's made a good jump on John Merritt, and Lane Thurburn's dropped 2 spots already. Trouble at the back. Kurt Nomenson's caught up again, I think. So for the second time in as many races, Nomenson's caught up. Wayne Visser opted to start from pit lane in the hope of avoiding a carnage, and I think that's worked just nicely for him. Chapman gone. Chapman's gone.
Chapo lap 1 got in.
That is. Oh no! It caught Brett on the exit, and that's a really weird incident.
I hate to say it, I really do. That to me looks a little self-inflicted. Like Brett did nothing wrong there. Brett was out on the curb. This should give us a better view of the gaps there. He's moved out when he probably shouldn't have. Championship points on the line. That's not good at all for Chapo.
Advantage Glenn Cito right here and now. That's all I can say on that. Sean McKenzie's just been passed by Chris Noble. Noble goes to second. And we pick up Glenn Cito, who's making his way through patiently in 6th place at the moment. Sean McKenzie's got John Merritt and Ryan Tate for company there as well. They're all going after Jonathan Hooper. So the first 5 have bolted. Noble on the outside finds the dirt. Noble kisses the dirt.
Yeah, I thought John was going to get a nose full of Sean McKenzie's gearbox there, but he managed to pull it up just.
Aaron Russell in 13th at the moment, up 8 spots on where he started. Of course, missed much of race 2. Kurt Nomenson's parked up and is done for the night. Wayne Visser still last in the order, just behind Chapo. Chapo behind McGrath, trying to latch on and try and commence the climb back through the field. Here's Aaron Russell up on the outside of Pete Matson now. Russell on the outside of Matson to go to 12th. Can he get it done? Under brakes, I think he will. Nicely done. Oh, upside down! More trouble. Cito's involved. There's a huge stack at the bottom of the circuit. An enormous shunt. Cars going everywhere. Hendo's on the tow rope. Lane Thurburn was involved. Brendan Nealon, Sean McKenzie, Glenn Cito. Sam Chapman's gone back up to 16th. Is a beneficiary of all of that garbage.
Oh, right as Starkey says.
What on earth has happened here?
Here we go. So we got Sean McKenzie.
Let's have a look. 3 wide. That spells trouble to me. McKenzie, and poor old Pseudo had nowhere to go, and then from there it was just stacks on. 1, 2, 3. Madsen, Thoburn, everybody caught up in that. Extraordinary.
Oh, wow. And then Sean's had another one here, wasn't it? No, it's the same one. It's just...
yeah. You're going to get a fair few incident alerts with that one, Joe. No worries about that.
Did you see
and behind, there was one upside down. I don't know. I think that might have been Hendo, to be honest with you.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, it is. I think it's Hendo upside down.
Oh, I'm trying to grab it.
He ended up on the tow rope.
I can't see it. Yeah, he's in the pits there. Oh, poor Hendo.
Holy crap, and no way. WT... I think Starkey's mistyped there. It should be an F, not an H, but that's okay. 4 minutes gone. We are into the closing stage of the third lap. We're starting lap 4 now for our race leader, John Merritt, ahead of... Yes. Thank you, Jackson.
Look.
Good evening to you.
Here we go. So...
This is Pete Madsen into the lane. This is Pete on pit lane. So that's where the pit lane is, for those of you that are wondering. Here on the Sebring short circuit.
I couldn't. Now, we've got... Glenn said over to take... Earlier on, when Chapo had his little incident, it was like championship over, it's not looking good. Now, all of a sudden, we've got Glenn sitting in 19th, and Sam, and he's a fair way back from the pack. He's about 10 seconds away from getting involved with probably even more up the front there. So he's probably not going to go much further forward. But Sam Chapman, look at how many cars and positions and points he's got available to try and close that gap in this third and final race of the night. So it's going to be it certainly could be a bit of a recovery drive for Chapo. Chris Noble.
Jeez, Noble now slips back to 4th place as a result of this. Is he going to get a helping hand? No. He's going to do it all on his lonesome.
Self-spins it.
For the second time tonight.
Oh, he'll be dirty on that one.
And how nicely is this played out? About 15 minutes ago, I was saying that Adam Lavis might be out of championship contention, but with Cito having transited the lane, Chapo having transited the lane, this has just opened up beautifully. We are going to have a 3-way fight on grand final night. You beauty.
So it's sort of playing into the hands of having an exciting race next week. Like, Adam's dropped a bunch of points early. He's up there in the top 3 at the moment. You've got Sam Chapman. He's currently sitting 13th, and Glenn is up 1 position. He's back in 18th at the moment. So there's Mav. Here we got Sam Chapman. He's got a bunch of cars in front of him if he can get the job done. But I mean, you've got Phil King, tough customer. Ryan Tate, tough customer. Fred Kahn, tough customer. These are all the guys Chapo's going to have to deal with. And he's got about another 8.5 minutes to do it. So it's one of those risk versus rewards for Chapo.
More trouble. Wipeout! Chapo's been cleaned up for the second time tonight. Steve Murray involved in that one this time as well. Wow, how lucky was Brendan Nealon not to get cleaned up on the rejoin.
I'm going to stop talking about poor Chapo now. Commentator's curse. Sorry, Chapo.
It has been chaotic from the outset tonight, Joe Trucker Baldwin. You've picked a good night to be in the house. No doubt about that.
Crazy race. And we've also got...
Ridiculous.
Mav has been passed by a couple. What's happened? So no.
I've just by the way, I've just gone reaching for the strepsils, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm going to need them. Look at the tag team job here.
Yeah,
Russell and Noble up the outside of Lavis.
Bit of a draft there got by Adam, so he's certainly not over by any means. It was just a bit of a draft thing that sort of got him there. So
and obviously that's because now he's in 4th. So Merritt, Hooper, Wood, Lavis. Oh, hang on, what's happened now? What's happened to Russell and Noble? We need to go and have a look at a replay potentially, Joe, because Russell and Noble are back showing 8th and 9th. Have they wiped each other out and taken each other off the road? Well, Nick Wood was certainly off the road, and Noble, Noble got into the side of Russell. Can you believe that? Noble got into Russell. And Noble didn't even try and force the issue there. He knew he had to redress. And so all of this is just working out beautifully for Adam Lavis. He's now 4th behind Nick Wood, and he's got Adam Proctor and Brett Bradbury for company. He just needs to stay out of trouble, Lavis, because, of course, Sam Chapman's fallen back down to 15th. Boncedo's 18th. So all of a sudden, she's nice, spicy and juicy going into the final next week. Remembering, of course, we're going to Magello for the finale of Formula V next week.
Brilliant track. Now,
especially for these cars.
Big movers tonight. We've got some big numbers here. Adam Maverick up 10. Aaron Russell, even after that little incident, up 13. Up 4th position is Darren Harris and Adam Proctor, who's right behind Adam Maverick. And your big mover of the night so far is Fred Kahn. He's up 15 positions from the start of the race. So, like I said, Fred's going to be one of those guys that Chapo was going to have to keep an eye on, but unfortunately, Chapo got involved in that bit of an incident as he's just moved himself around Brendan Nealon to slot back into 14th, but he's still down 6 positions from his starting position. So it's a clean pair of heels, though. We better just check in with Merritt. Merritt's got Hooper behind him, 1.1 seconds.
Hey, what a beautiful result this is turning out to be for Jonathan Hooper. I don't think we've ever seen him stay this far up the pointy end of a Formula V field in the longest of times. Because, I mean, all the garbage is happening behind him. He's just minding his own business. Nobody's come and pestered him. And no one's been able to find a way by him except for John Merritt, up 6 spots. Nick Wood up 6 and Adam Lavis up 10, as you say. And the margin between Hooper and Wood is 6.68 seconds. Now, I'm sorry, but it's 9:53 on the clock. There's 4 to go at the line for John Merritt. I believe it's going to be 4 to go. We'll just keep an eye on that clock there and see if
back to the next pack, guys. So
I don't think they're going to catch John Hooper. And just quietly, I mean, they'll give it their best crack. They'll give it a good shake, but I don't think they'll catch him. And so Hooper only has to keep it clean and not make a mistake, and he could be staring down a race podium. And the other point as well, I mean, we look at Chris Noble and John Merritt. That was brilliant in race 1. We look at Cito winning race 2. So the Pulse boys are on track for a good night at the office here. Despite the setback for Cito, they've had representation on the podium in all 3 races if it keeps up. We'll have a look back at those results for you at the end, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go through them in meticulous detail. Races 1, 2 and 3. Jonathan Hooper 2nd, Nick Wood 3rd, Adam Lavis, Adam Proctor, Fred Kahn, Brett Bradbury, Chris Noble and Phil King, with Aaron Russell making up the top 10, up 11 spots now and trying to make it 12 or 13 even, because Noble's right there. So not for the first time tonight, Noble and Russell in striking distance of one another. And Starkey putting a good point in the comments there, noting that Sam Chapo is 13th now. So he's 1 second away from Robert McGrath and Ryan Tate. If he can get those two, that'll actually be a nice little recovery for Chapo.
And here's the champion-elect at the moment. Glenn Cedo-Riddell. He's still down from his initial starting position of 10 after that incident early in the race. He's currently sitting 16th, but he's putting in some good lap times. Like he's doing 18.53s. He's actually faster than Hot Lap up the front with an 18.55 on the last lap. So the 2 teammates are running very, very close together. As far as lap time goes, but about as far apart on the track as you can get on any given night for teammates. So, which is unfortunate, but this is racing. Oh no, Sam Chapman.
Oh, again.
What's going on?
Here's the hat trick. Goodbye. Oh, jeez.
Does not go. That was Robert McGrath.
How lucky was the car in the middle to get away with that? Jeez, was that Ryan Tate? Yeah, have a look at that. The car in the middle should not have got away with that. That's iRacing for you, though.
Yep.
Sometimes you just buy inadvertent luck. Jeez. And Chapo's been in the thick of it tonight. I can't wait to get his take on it, his analysis of it. Jesus.
I'm going to turn my headset down when he comes in for that one. He's going to be filthy.
He will be, and rightly so. Yeah, that's disappointing. Merritt Scout Trooper. Can't say I'm surprised. Let's go and have a look at that battle behind, though. Have a look at Adam Lavis back up on the inside. Whoa, here we go. Adam Proctor, Fred Kahn, Nick Wood up on the outside of Adam Lavis. Lavis holding on to third for dear life here. Wood across the dirt and the ripple strip.
Wrist net coated, says Starkey. That's pretty close to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got to say though, even before the end of the race, driver of the night, like especially race 3 here, is Fred Kahn, 17 positions up. Yeah, that's a stellar drive so far. If he can keep it clean to the end, which geez, they're getting spicy.
Yeah, they are. Oh, that won't end well if they stay that close together. Wheel-to-wheel sort of stuff there between Proctor and Kahn. Wood back up on the outside. Hold your breath, everybody. It's over at 11.5. Merritt leads it. He'll get the white flag at the line this time around. He'll go to 12 laps. Merritt will ensure that it does. Here we go. Proctor gets back by Kahn. And that's Brett Bradbury. That is Brett Bradbury having a dream run in 7th. Gives you an insight into just how chaotic this race has been, that Brett Bradbury has been able to keep his nose clean here and remain in 7th. What a great run from the Bean Boss Racing entry. Chris Noble is 8th. Aaron Russell, Phil King, 9th and 10th. So again, Russell and Noble arguing over the same piece of real estate. You can see those 3 battles all playing out in line of sight right now, ladies and gentlemen. Russell back down the inside, gets back by Noble. Wood and Lavis, and also, of course, Adam Proctor in there as well. The 2 Adams working together to try and reel Nick Wood in. White flag in the air. John Merritt gets us to the last lap now.
I tell you what, if I was Nick Wood right now, I'd be pushing my mirrors all the way out so I can't see in behind, and just you've got
just
to put
eyes forward.
Yeah, you got to put eyes forward and best lap you can.
Nick Wood, Adam Proctor, Adam Lavis. Lavis, Proctor down the inside makes a lunge. Lavis goes to the outside and holds on. And jeez, hang on to it, boy. Hang on to it. What a save that was from Adam Lavis. Heart and mouth stuff, no doubt about that, for the Aussie Races entry. What the hell is going on here? Chapman's 12th, Brunel's 14th, and they're caught in the middle of a fight with Brendan Nealon as well.
They are too. Here we go, look at this.
Yep. There they are.
After that incident, I'd say Chapo's probably carrying a bit of damage, which would be making it hard for him. Yeah, I mean, Brendan steps aside. There he goes. So he's trying to give his teammate a crack at Chapo for the last lap.
And I can't say I'm surprised. Team Tactics 101 right here and now. John Merritt gets the job done in race 3. Let's call these guys to the line. Jonathan Hooper, what a charge to second. Nick Wood's going to hold off Adam Lavis, who's going to hold off Adam Proctor and Fred Kahn. Oh, hang on. No. What's going on there? Nick Wood.
No, Nick. What did Nick do?
What the hell's going on there?
That's a weird one.
We need to go back and have a look at that, because Nick Wood has pulled up 6th. He's actually pulled to one side. Adam Lavis has gone through 3rd. Adam Proctor, Fred Kahn 4th, 5th, and then Nick Wood 6th all of a sudden. Oh boy. Brett Bradbury, Aaron Russell, Chris Noble come through. Then Phil King in 10th place. Sam Chapman's going to hold off Glenn Cito Riddell for 12th. And the championship equation is going to be very, very interesting going into the grand finale next Thursday night. Now, Nick Wood.
What's happened with Nick?
What on earth has happened here, please? That is a really weird one. And here we go. Did he have to clear anything, maybe? I don't know. That's a real strange sort of setup. Round to the right-hander, and then all of a sudden...
Got a left and a right onto the main strap.
He's just gone wide. Has he run out of gas?
No. What's he doing there? That's
one hell of a way to lose 3rd.
Did he think that they'd already crossed the line, maybe? I can't seem to think what he would have been doing that for. That's a weird one. Well, hopefully you'll pop in and he'll let us know.
We'll be able to explain it. Oh, jeez. Oh, Glorioski. What the hell have we witnessed tonight? You wouldn't fair dinkum believe it, ladies and gentlemen. That is some of the craziest stuff. I mean, I say it every week. Formula V, Spreyton Cider, Thursday Night Motorsport, Formula V in particular, just gets better and better and better and goes from strength to strength. But that is among some of the craziest stuff we've ever seen. absolute insanity. Track temp 48 degrees at the finish here, ambient 26. We'll wait for some drivers to come and have a chat to us, but I reckon a few of them might be paying race control a visit first.
A bit of a visit first.
You don't mind. Joe, let's have a look if we can. Let's just remind everybody races 1, 2 and 3 in that order, please, of how we all finished if we can. And we've got some replays.
Where are we? We got heat 1.
There it is. We've got nothing on the screen at the moment.
Something wrong here.
That's all right, but we'll wait for you. There we go. So John Merritt wins races 1 and 3, and Glenn Cito wins race 2. So once again, Merritt being greedy and doubling up. At .037, the winning margin in race 1. Race 2, Cito by .045 over Wood and Chapman, and .123 back to Merritt. So Merritt will win the round on those numbers as far as I can tell. And race 3, it will be Merritt from Hooper, from Lavis, Proctor and Khan, with Wood in 6th. And Merritt with the biggest winning margin of the night, 5.67 seconds. Okay, the great man's joined us for a chat here after what can only be described as a very chaotic night in the cockpit. Chapo, you defended your selection of the Sebring Club configuration last week, and from an entertainment standpoint, hats off to you. It was fantastic. But from a driver standpoint, I can only imagine how relieved you are that you've seen the checkered flag on that and you don't have to come back here next week.
Yeah, probably relatively relieved. It's it was sort of just you get knocked back and then you get back up again tonight. So it was pretty difficult, but it was actually a good track for these cars, all things considered, just quite a few incidents out there. Was managed to avoid a few, but there was a bit of probably not holding brakes and that sort of thing that really didn't assist this sort of stuff. So anyway, onwards.
Indeed. I mean, it wasn't all bad, Chapo. I mean, you had some good pace, you showed some good promise, and I guess you're lucky that Adam Lavis had a rough run in race 2 and Cito also had a rough run in race 3. So the championship's still very much on the line going into Magello next week.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll be interested to see how the points shake out. I was a little behind on points coming in, but Cito's got less to play with from a drop ground perspective, so it'll be interesting to how it plays out. I mean, it's always on as long as you're within a decent amount of points here because of the risk that comes with these. So we'll go next week. It's I think it'll end up being pretty even this round at the end, and it will come down to other stuff. But otherwise, we had some pretty good racing, especially like Cito and I when we were up front, and Wood as well. He was bloody classed out there today too. But they both knew how to finish the race better than I did. I could lead or lead sections of the race, but couldn't get it done when it needed to be done.
Unfortunately, however, grand finals do funny things to funny people, mate. I mean, Magello will bring out the best in you blokes, and Magello will throw up a spanner or two, no doubt. What are your initial thoughts on how that might play out, please?
Oh, who knows? I think it's. I think it will be brilliant. We're going to have a bit of understanding of how to do a straight 3 wide or 5 wide. I think some of the squeezing and that went on today, that can't be happening in those sort of situations, or we'll just end up like we did, or everyone else did at Virginia. So hopefully everyone can sort of like keep it clean. I think it will be good fun if we can. But it could also be a bit of a crash fest if we're not careful.
How key are those long straights they're going to be, mate, in terms of trying to make inroads in those invert races?
Oh, they'll be everything. It's going to be a slipstream circuit, so that's what you're going to be playing with. There's not really going to be much point faffing around, trying to stick a nose up in the corners or anything like that, because you'll just be wasting time. Like it's a really wide circuit. You do have runoff, you actually, having said that, you could very much go side by side because of that. But yeah, it will definitely be key. I'm sure we'll have some sprints to the finish line. Yeah, you probably won't know who's going to win going into the final corner, I'd imagine.
All right, very nicely done. Stay with me, mate. If time permits, I'm going to come back to you. But there's a fair entourage of people that have graced us with their presence in the broadcast booth to have a chat here post-race. And we're mindful that we've got Super Formula Lights from Road America over 60 minutes in duration coming up. The dessert to your Thursday night motorsport main course, ladies and gentlemen, coming up at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, 6:45 in the West, 10:45 New Zealand. Sam Stride from Race Control is in the house, and I want to bring him in at this point in time because I feel as though you probably shouldn't be here at this point in time, mate. So I feel as though there's a fair bit of tape to run your eyes over after what can only be described as a chaotic night at the office.
Yeah, mate, I was flat out typing away. I reckon I got carpal tunnel on the old fingers. But, you know, it's the boys are into it, and unfortunately there was some very sad-looking canoe bees getting around with no wheels on them.
Unfortunately,
Indeed, always a possibility here, though. Joe?
What are you going to say, Joe?
I was going to say, like, the guy that shares the same name with you, Chapo, he was, I'm sure he probably feels like a Mike Tyson opponent after tonight's race, and he just seemed to get caught up in that third race with just about everything going on. But, I mean, Glenn had the same thing, you know, it just was very tough out there, so I'm sure you were as busy as what we were.
Well, I've said it before in one of your other broadcasts, as busy as a one-legged man in a backside kicking competition.
Yes.
That's it.
That's certainly what it was like. But well, every now and again there's a round where it seems that people don't really gel on the circuit too well, and they seem to be like magnets.
Mate, the main question I've got for you is how many penalties have you handed out, if any?
Oh, hang on.
And any for our key, protagonist, if you've got that info.
Nine penalties total.
Yep.
However, the fellas towards the front of the points are not in the naughty books. They're actually in the receiving books.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. All good. And are you sticking around to have a dabble at race control for Super Formula Light as well, or?
That's usually Joe's domain, but I don't know. Are you broadcasting that, Joe?
He is broadcasting tonight. Yes. Yes.
I hadn't really thought about it, to be honest. You put me on the spot.
Everyone's been thrown on the spot today, mate. Everyone's lifting the weight left behind by our great mate Daniel Correa-Sar, who will be back on deck next week, of course. I only got the heads up at about 6:05 tonight that he wasn't going to be in the house. So thankfully, Joe to the rescue. All right. Sam, thank you for being the bearer of good news in that instance, mate. Appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Thank you.
Continuing on. Hey, Jono Hooper, welcome into you. I'm going to get to Kurt Nomans and then to the two teammates from Pulse in just a moment. But firstly to you. What an extraordinarily clean and lucky run you had there in race 3. Everybody left you alone and you were able to go about your business as though you didn't have a care in the world. You just had to keep it clean, keep it straight, and you brought it home in second, mate. Well done.
Yeah, I didn't even really know what was going on half the time, but halfway through that third race, I don't think I've concentrated so hard in all my life. So it's just, corner in and corner out, and that was it, trying to obviously chase John, which was a bit of a nowhere feat, but I couldn't believe it, so incredible.
It went rather nicely for you, mate. I mean, that is, I guess, at the end of the day, the benefit of the invert situation. And in this particular instance, no one can say anything untoward about your performance there, because the whole invert idea is to give you guys that opportunity to convert, to turn it into a result, and you certainly did that.
Yeah. It was a bit of a shock, like, towards the end. I'm looking down at my relative, and it was like 6.5 seconds, and I'm like, oh, maybe you can hold on. Hopefully I can hold on. Just don't spin. And then that was it. So, I was very happy with that. So.
It could not have gone much better for you, mate. Well done on all of that. And looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table next week at Magello. What do you think of the little circuit here at Sebring? I mean, it's a shorter configuration. It's not the normal that we race on when we come here, but I reckon it threw up great Formula V racing.
Yeah, it is. At the first practice and then into quali, it was still a little bit of getting used to. But by the second race and then the third, it felt really good. It was a good track for that car for sure. So no, that was awesome.
Mugello, how familiar are you with it, and how much are you looking forward to it next week?
Yeah, pretty familiar with it. Not a big fan, but yeah, we'll see how we go. So hopefully I can hang in there and post half a decent result.
All right, mate. Fingers
Thank
crossed.
you.
Yeah, catch John. I think there's more chance of catching a Bigfoot picture.
Bigfoot, yeah.
Well done, Chris Stark. That might be the comment of the night thus far. Hey, Jono, well done, mate. We appreciate you stopping by for a quick chat. Appreciate it. Go well.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. See you next week. Bye.
Yeah, indeed you will. Magnificent from Jonathan Hooper in second spot there. And as I said, Joe, the seas just parted so beautifully for him in the sense that all the carnage happened behind him. And once everybody got squabbling, it just kind of allowed him to slip clear and follow in the footsteps of John Merritt, who there was just no stopping tonight. We've lost Adam Lavis. Let me bring in Kurt Nomenson. Less said about that, the better.
Yeah, I mean, the first race wasn't too bad. Second race, I just overcooked it. That was all on me. But that third race, just touched the curb, and it unsettled the car, put me in the fence, broke the steering. And I thought I may as well go do some laps ready for Super Formulas.
Yes. What are your thoughts on Super Formula at Road America, mate? And for what it was worth, I mean, it didn't last long, but what did you make of this configuration of Sebring?
Yeah, I definitely got lost still while I was racing at Sebring, this layout of Sebring. Not used to it, so it threw me off a little bit, but no, I liked it. I really enjoyed it, and maybe if I had a bit more practice, I probably could have done a little bit better.
I was going to say, I don't think you got anywhere near as lost as what Nick Wood did there on the run to the line when he lost 3 positions in the blink of an eye. But yes, unfortunate, mate, and not the first time that we've seen you at the forefront of some carnage in Formula V. Hoping to avoid a repeat of that, no doubt, in Super Formula Light when we get to Road America in a few moments' time.
Definitely going to try and avoid that. I'm not fast, but I'm definitely not back of the pack pace, so hopefully I'll have some good racing with the guys in Super Formulas and have a bit better night than I did in the Vs.
We hope so for your sake as well, mate. 60 minutes ahead of you. Good luck. Go well. We'll catch up at the end.
Thank you.
And of course, a Jackson Rayhana less Mugello round, Road America round of Super Formula Light coming up in just a few moments' time, and we'll see Kurt Nomenson in the Formula V back when we get to Mugello next week. Right, pulse tuning 1-2 in the house right now. John Merritt, Glenn Cito. I'm looking forward to hearing from Glenn, so I'm going to start with him first, quite frankly. Cito, if you had any luck at all, it'd be bad luck, really, because unfortunately for the second week in a row, you got yourself caught up in an incident, and it may have championship implications. It may not. Just lucky for you, I guess, that Chapo and Lavis also ran into trouble at some point tonight.
Just so you know, Glenn, before you go, I've got a little beep button ready to go, just in case.
Yeah, that's why I don't have my button.
That's why you weren't in last week, isn't it?
In the server, for that very reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk us through that, mate, because race 2 went beautifully, but and race 1 was okay, but race 3, by gee.
Yeah, that's where the luck just ran out, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've still got that target sticker on the back of my V, because I still attract a bit of rear-end action lately, which sort of didn't help race 1, but I recovered okay. And then, yeah, obviously race 2 was awesome, but race 3, I'd done all the hard work and sort of got through, or almost got through near the front, and then just so happens the 2 blokes come together in front of me.
Yep, and set off that chain reaction that you can see there right of screen, ladies and gentlemen. Just absolute carnage central.
I actually took it easy at that corner too, thinking, I'll just back off a little bit early, and I still couldn't avoid it. So what do you do? It's one of those things.
What do you think of the circuit? I mean, should we have gone the full track here, or did you like this little layout?
Nah, full track's too long for the Vs. Fall asleep. Yeah, I don't mind some of these shorter tracks for Vs, to be honest. Like, there's enough slipstream anyway. It's good to have a bit of a challenge. So it's quite a tricky little track. the V got a bit unstable in the rear on turning on some of those corners. So I had to really concentrate, and there's enough, obviously, straights to slipstream and all that sort of stuff too, so that was good.
Very nicely done. Sorry, I was just having a gulp full of water here, and I didn't expect you to pull up so quickly. Hey, talk to me about firstly last week, and we anticipated a not so pleasant post-race Montreal debrief in the Pulse Tuning stable. Talk us through that if you don't mind.
Oh, I just had a shocker, mate. Pretty much. That's all there is to say about that. So I think I rocked up with 20 minutes to go. I mean, we don't normally practice with the V anyway, but
true. Yeah.
Just didn't gel with it.
It's so easy for the lack of practice you do.
Well, tonight I don't normally do about 10 laps just to learn the track.
Yep.
But yeah, I just didn't gel with the track that well. I didn't really have good speed, and I was just sort of trying to hang in there, but I just kept getting into trouble. So by the time race 3 rolled around, it was a drop round already. So I wasn't even going to race, but I thought, I'll get out there anyway. You never know.
This is it. This is it. Hey, speaking of drop rounds, I mean, you're pretty lucky that you do have some drop points at your disposal, and they may come in handy after tonight.
I think I used them all up last week, to be honest. So that was an absolute shocker. So I was probably just lucky some of the other boys had a bit of a rough time too. Otherwise, I mean, on the one hand, it could have been a good opportunity to extend, get a bit of a lead or extend the lead a bit in the championship. And it was looking good in the last race until that incident, and then I got the meatball and had to pit, and that was all over. So yeah, no more second chances. So it is what it is. I think tonight will still be better than my other drop rounds.
True. How are you feeling about Magello and the three-way fight with Adam and Chapo?
I'll have to go by the track, I guess.
Probably a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Could you imagine forfeiting or relinquishing a championship because couldn't be bothered purchasing the circuit? What an excuse that'd line up to be.
Feel free, it's fine.
The budget's been blown the last couple of weeks with the repair bill, so I probably can't afford it, to be honest.
I don't know that. Hey, since we've got you here, mate, I mean, we've regularly seen you in the sports cars and in the GT cars in the past. Have you had a dabble or a play with the Corvette and Mustang yet?
Nah, I've sort of gone off GT3s a bit, to be honest. Like, I haven't really done much with them for a while.
To be fair, Formula V, I mean, GTs have got nothing in Formula V. I agree with you.
They're good to drive, but the racing's not exactly exciting, is it? I'm just a bit short of time at the moment, so I'm trying to get on and do GT4s. I don't mind GT4s; they're a bit of fun. I just never seem to have the time. I don't organise myself to get on. So, obviously with the Vs, I normally miss a few rounds every season. But John was away, and he's like, "Oh, come on, give it a crack." And when you start going all right in the points, then you're like, "Well, I better keep going." Yep,
I've just been advised too, boys, that I don't have the audio for our changeover here when we go to a break in just a tick. So just bear with us there. And
sorry, it's worked.
It is working. All right, thank you.
I was going to say, John can sing a song for you if you like.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. That means we can go from Glenn Cito to John Merritt in just a tick. Adam Lavis has been gone, come and went for the second time tonight. We'll hopefully get back to him shortly. Hey, Cito, good luck, mate. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Looking forward to 5-6 wide down the straight at Magello. I'm assuming it's the full track, so it'll just be slipstreaming everywhere.
I'm hoping for 8 wide at one point.
There'll probably be I'm assuming a pack of like 25, 30 cars all in a big train until there's an incident, and then it'll split up. So we'll see how we go. Hopefully I'm not in the middle of the incident this time.
Yeah, well, they say it comes in threes. Not that I want to put the mocker on it or anything for you, but let's hope that you've burnt those 3 already over the last 2 weeks. Good luck, mate. Thank you. Appreciate that. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday night.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Good call too.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Mate, I've already downed a Strepsil after that one because the vocal cords and the tonsils are under a little bit of duress every time we do Formula V on a Thursday night. But we wouldn't do it any other way. John Merritt's here as well to wrap it up. So a clean sweep for Pulse. 2 wins for yourself, 1 for your teammate Cito, and a relatively good night out. And for you, round win as well, mate. And we could see the team gamesmanship, sportsmanship, tactical play on show there in the closing stages, trying to get Cito of race 2 this was, trying to help Cito out, trying to help him along. You weren't able to help him in race 3, and as a result of that, the seas parted nicely for you, and you went on to record the most comfortable win of the night. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Yeah, race 2 was probably had the team hat on and was happy to do so in the last race. But as Cito said, he was just about through, and I think we would have been okay then, but just didn't work out that way, unfortunately.
Indeed. What were your thoughts on that for a night out? Because that was some of the best racing I think we've ever seen on the platforms of this club. I mean, particularly for that circuit, and 5 of the best. I mean, you guys, Nick Wood, I mean, Chapo was in there, a couple of others. Race 2 was off the chart.
Yeah, it's actually a cracking track for V's. So I didn't know it was a short track, to be honest, and I think I've ran it once before in an MX-5 or something, but it was thoroughly enjoyable. Just enough straights for the draft to work, and you know, it's actually reasonably technical. So no, it was enjoyable little track.
Indeed it was. And from your own standpoint, how nice is it? I mean, okay, so how nice is it from a personal standpoint to not have to go out there and think about the championship, but how stressful is it on the same foot to know that there's a role to play there as a teammate who's in a championship fight, mate? Does that make it less stressful or more stressful, the fact that you're trying to do what you can to help somebody else out?
Oh, I think I've asked the favours often enough, so it's time to repay some. Yeah, look, it's you probably just don't want to trip your teammate up, right? That's probably the biggest part. So you don't want to get fully in that fight, but if you can help them when you can help them, you do so and oblige. So yeah, no, look, it's good not to have to worry about the points, and I think I said that one time probably in the Discord tonight. You know, oh well, I'm not too worried if it doesn't work out, and that was probably the case. You know, the other guys tripped up after when we went 3 wide to that hairpin, but you know, not that you're going to lean or do silly stuff, but you don't have to worry so much.
No, this is very true. We've got about a minute and a half to go in qualifying for the Super Formula Lights from Road America. We'll get to them in just a moment. John, who's just jumped in there? Adam Lavis has jumped back in. We might get the chance to have a chat to him in just a moment, but actually we'll probably talk to him at the end because he'll be focusing on Super Formula Light in the meantime. So, with that in mind, hot lap, Magello, excited?
Yeah, it should be a good track for the V's. I'll get my oldest nose cone out and my oldest set of pods, and away we'll go.
Yes, I love it. Looking forward to it immensely, mate. Thank you for that. Go well for the rest of the week and into next week. We'll see you, of course, Monday night, and then hoping for some cracking racing here this time next Thursday night to bring the curtain down what's been a magnificent championship. And even though, as we say, you're going to hand the baton over, the reins of Formula E look like they're a very firm chance of staying within the Pulse stable. So be proud of that, and we look forward to getting to Magello next week, mate.
Appreciate it as always, mate. Good call. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you very much, Pete.
Cheers, Joe.
Very nicely done. And what about that? Fancy this. I'm sitting here and I'm getting emails at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night about appointments next week. Monday at 11 a.m. Fair income. So much for getting a sleep in. Before we're on air next Monday night, I figure the later I got to work, and next Monday night will go a hell of a long way because we've and it will go very close to midnight as we do on grand final night each and every season, because once we get here to Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, it'll be 90 minutes of GT3s. Then it'll be wrapping up both the Pro and the AMs and getting the final points out there for both those championships and all that sort of stuff. And I'm trying to extend the window so that the plan was to sleep in a little bit later Monday morning, then get up and ease into the day. But anyway, whatever. Let's remind everybody of where we're at. No, not at all. Let's remind everybody of where we're at. We're at the Road America Circuit, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. So last week, It was the home of the Canadian Formula One Grand Prix, which happened in the real world over the weekend just gone. This week, it's the home of one of the great rounds of the IndyCar series, and they visited here last weekend as well. So there's some nice real-world symmetry lining up with our calendar at the moment. Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Spreyton Cider, Wings and Slicks, Super Formula Light for you. Thursday night motorsport. Platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Around the grounds very quickly, just before we have a look at the track and the server information and, of course, the championship points. Dolphins leading Sharks. Thursday night NRL, 22 points to 12. We've got the men's 100 about to unfold at the Australian Swimming Championships as well. So a lot to be excited about tonight. If you're not watching the swimming, you should be watching the NRL, but either of those should be second to us. Us on the big screen, those two on the little screens, volume here, and you've got the best seat in the house, and you've got the night sorted. When it gets to the Olympics later in the year, you need 3 monitors, ladies and gentlemen. 1 for us, 2 for the Olympics, and you'll be set. Your sports bar will never look as good as what it will do during Paris 2024. 6.5 kilometres this course, Joe. It's one of the great ones. We love coming here to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin to Road America. 45 degrees the track temp, 24 the ambient. We're at 11:41 in the morning. That server's about to update. Of course, we'll go to the afternoon very shortly with the click over from qualifying to race server. The humidity's at 48%. The wind is at 9 kilometres an hour, and it's heading in a very southerly direction. We finally got told what that bloody bit of data is below the wind direction and also the temperature there. Sorry, the wind speed, and it's the wind direction, and it's in degrees. So 90 degrees is east, 180 degrees is south, 270 degrees is west, and obviously 360 would be back to square one, would be the northerly. So Jackson Ray Harner pointing out the obvious to us. Long race tonight, a few different strategy plans to play out here that they can implement if they want. Daniel Sneddon. Thank you. Appreciate that. I won't even read the comment because I'm not one to toot my own trumpet, if you like. However, yeah, we're about to tick over into the race server. We're looking forward to this one immensely. There they are. They're about to line up on the grid, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll have a look at the cars and how they're lining up for you here. Let me, on the way there, remind you of the championship standings. Jackson Ray Harner, not on the grid tonight, 394. Aiden Luthwaite, 318. Mark Gomez, 271. Locked with Brett Barker. They are 1 and 3 on the grid, split only by Liam Banks. David Baz on 265 is in this fight as well, and he is starting from P5. Then Adam Lavis 253. Guy Leach 231, Matt Schmidtke 224, John Baldwin 196, and Sam Chapman 165. So the minor placings here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 47 point splits them at the moment. Ooh, it's on in earnest for those positions because we've got 4 races to go on the championship. Not just have we got this 60-minute race tonight, but we've got a triple treat next week when we get to the streets of Detroit, the Grand Prix of Belle Isle, Michigan circuit. So looking forward to that. Grid for tonight is Mark Gomez and Liam Banks, Brett Barker, Matt Schmidtke from the second row, David Baz, Jamie Walsh the third, Guy Leach, Bevan Moyes the fourth, John Baldwin and Jake Slade from 5. 6 is Adam Lavis and Adam Proctor. Jeez, they've seen enough of each other tonight, I would have thought. Paul Wilson, Greg Heaney, 7th row. Sam Chapman, Colin Bennett, 8th row. Pete Matson, Kurt Nomanson, 9th row. Wayne Visser, Brett Bradbury, 10th row. Mark McNamara from row 11. And that makes up the field of 21. We might have Daniel Piper join us from the back of the grid. He did set a qualifying time. So it could be 22 cars on the grid. It should be. Ready to go. We've got a little bit more than a Formula One field, a little bit less than a than an IndyCar field, and we are ready to go. The penultimate round of the championship, 4 races to go in the campaign, top 2 not on the grid, and Jackson Ray Harner sitting on watching this one helpless. But he's got drop round points to fall back on, which should serve him well going into next week when we get to Michigan. But let's get ready to rumble. Spreyton side of Thursday night to Motorsport. Dessert for you, dished up Wings and Slicks style. Great start, clean start. Gomez and Banks side by side. Does Banksy want to force the issue and try and lead it on the run to turn 1 around the outside? We'll wait and see. No, Gomez will lead them through. Hold your breath. No, they don't get all through cleanly. Adam Proctor's round the wrong way. But everybody else is safely through the first sequence of corners. There we go. On the run down the back straight for the first time. Josh Zolino making his run for a career in comedy in the comments section at the moment. Have a look at this. Liam Banks down the inside, wants to go to the lead and does so. Our commentary colleague from Wednesday Night Motorsport has gone to the lead. Jamie Welch in trouble, so too. Brett Barker! Brett Barker's in trouble! One of the key championship contenders here is down, pointing the wrong way and in trouble. Adam Proctor's gone up to 19th. Jamie Welch and Brett Barker has been passed by Wayne Visser around the outside. Barker has to be coming to pit road, I would imagine. And Greg Heaney's now in trouble as well. Oh boy. An enormous amount of drama on the opening lap.
I'm looking for it's yeah, this is a bit colour. Here we go. So Bennett's got by Barker.
Yep.
After the incident. Yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah.
It's,
no, that's all right.
It didn't show up as an actual incident, so which is kind of weird. Makes it hard to go back and have a look at it when it doesn't actually flash up that so and so has crashed. So
Bevan Moyes dropped 2 wheels in the dirt as well, has slipped to 7th. John Baldwin's got up to 6th, Joe. So Gomez, Banks, Schmidtke. Gomez has got back by Banksy. We didn't see that, but Gomez will lead him at the strike. 1 lap gone. 2:05.912. The standing lap time here at Road America. Remembering full well. One question. Trouble. Turn 1. An enormous stack. Schmidtke, Banks and Baz off in the grass. In the kitty litter. The hard worker qualifying has been brought undone incredibly quickly. More trouble there as well. So Banks has gone separately, and the Baz incident was secondary. Now, what happened at turn 2? I didn't see who went through at turn 2. Baz got caught into the rear.
Yeah.
Of Schmidtke. Yep. So, jeez.
I reckon we might have something here on the. So we got Brett Barker earlier.
Jeez, that was a big send. Let's have a look at this. This is Brett Barker on lap 1. He's going to have nowhere to go here. He caught the curb. Brett Barker caught the curb. He was the one that set off the chain reaction for Jamie Welch.
Oh no, lost his nose. That's terrible. Terrible luck for Jamie.
Yep.
He just had nowhere to go in that one.
There's an Aston Martin in super lights. That's probably the problem. Daniel Snedden contributing to the comedy as well. I love it when you blokes jump in and into the comments. It keeps us entertained here in the central commentary position, no doubt about that. 4 minutes gone, and remember, we're racing for an hour tonight, ladies and gentlemen, so it's our second 60-minute race of the campaign. We've had a few 40-minute races. We've had a few sprint rounds. We finish it off with a super sprint next week. Three races next Thursday night. So grand final week next week. Extended broadcast Monday night. Extended broadcast Thursday night. And Adam Lavis and I are going to double up. We are going to be here on Tuesday night as well. So that will be fantastic. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday next week. Hope you can join us. And of course, Greg, that was lap 1 too. Yep. Heaney's had a shocker. And as a result of all of that, he has dropped down to the 20th position.
Back of the bus.
The very back of the field. I'll go through the losers in all of this in just a moment. I'll go through the winners in just a tick too. But can I also just point out, don't forget, Daniel Correa-Sadley and Banks all being fair and equal in Daniel's world. They'll be here Wednesday night to bring you the grand finale of the production cars, and also, of course, the GT4, the last of the current era for GT4, because we changed the mould next term. They can now go racing in the rain. We're excited about that. We've already hyped up the changes in GT3 land. You'll see the Corvette and the Mustang in our servers from Term 3, Night 1, Monday, July 8th. Very excited about that. And, of course, Joe Baldwin's got a fair bit of work ahead of him because he'll be here. Adam Lavis is taking his place tomorrow night, but he'll be here next Friday night to bring you the final round of the NASCARs, the stock car experience. So looking forward to that immensely. In the meantime, let's have a look at some beneficiaries of all the garbage that's unfolded so far. We're only 3 laps in. 157.632 for Gomez, the fastest lap of the race. That's Mark McNamara getting relegated.
11 positions up from his start, though.
Yep.
Same with Daniel Piper, who's right behind him.
That's right, but they're not the only beneficiaries. The top 12 have all gained, with the exception of Gomez, who remains where he started. So 5 for Leach, 5 for Moyes, 5 for Baldwin, 6 for Lavis, 4 for Slade, 8 for Chapman, 5 for Wilson, 9 for Nomenson, 11 for McNamara and Piper, 5 for Matson, 4 for Vizza, and on the losing side of the ledger, 2 for Bradbury in the plus as well. In the losing side of the ledger, 7 for Welch, down to 13th, and the fastest lap of the race now, 157.576. Liam Banks has lost 14, David Baz has lost 12, Brett Barker's lost 17 positions. Matt Schmidtke's also lost out in all of that as well, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, it's been one hell of a start of the night. 17 positions down here. We had 22 starters, we've still got 22. Bennett's down 6 spots, Heaney's down 5. So a lot more wins than losers in all of this, but a lot more winners than losers, or wins than losses, I should say. Geez, I can't get my grammar right tonight, Joe. Go for it.
How's this for confidence? We got Dave Baz running around there. He don't need no front wing. Look at him go. He's
extraordinary, isn't it?
I tell you, I'm probably going to try and get.
More trouble. Wilson and Chapman, and we're off the road. We'll have to have a look at that in a sec. Wilson and Chapman off the road. Wilson's got back on in 7th. Chapman still flying down the order. Let's have a look at this. Well picked up by Joe Baldwin here. Bang! Wilson had nowhere to go.
Was innocent victim in that one. Chapo just got in a little bit deep and got into the back of whoever that was. Sorry, I didn't catch it, but very unfortunate there for him, and for Paul. Paul was a little bit innocent in that one, but that's racing, unfortunately.
Madness.
With a clean pair of heels up front, we got Guy Leach and Mark Gomez. They're actually putting it on. Mark's got a 3-second lead up front, 3.1 seconds. And I think he's just put in the fastest lap of the race by 57.58. Actually, dead heat with Jamie Welsh with a 57.58 as well.
Now, some early pit stops, Trucker. Chapman and Wilson into the lane. Wayne Vizzer, of course, came in at the end of lap 1, had to. Brett Barker did the same thing. Schmidtke and Bennett came in at the end of lap 2. So already a fair few pit stops unfolding here. Paul Wilson coming out of the main
for Paul or Chapo, I'd say.
And straight to pit lane.
Yeah, they'd be like, we're not driving around here with damage.
Now, will that compromise their fuel window at the end of the night? Will they have to do some saving from here as well? Keep an eye on that. Jackson Rayhana made the point that we'd be saving, we'd be watching or keeping an eye on some different strategies here tonight. And that has already come to fruition. That has already came into the discussion here because of the sheer attrition and the sheer drama we've seen in the early stages. Kurt Nomenson's had a good start. He's up 11 spots into 7th place.
Liam Banks here looking to put a move on Wayne Vizzer after his incident there right at the start of the race. He'll be looking to climb his way back up through the field. He's currently down 12 positions from his starting spot in 14th at the moment. So here he's moving to the right. Is he going to get the job done? We want to be brave down the end here, but that puts him on the inside for Canada.
He is brave.
Got the job done.
Can he pull it up?
Great
yes,
work.
he can.
Nice and clean. Well done.
Very nice. Now, just having a look here, we're 10 minutes into the race. So 5 laps gone, 10 minutes gone. So, I mean, we're on track for somewhere in the vicinity of, well, in excess of 30 laps, actually, at this pace. It should be, I'm going to say maybe 31 laps, even with a couple of splash and dashes along the way. Down the inside, Daniel Piper.
Jamie Welsh on Daniel Piper, that one was.
Yep. And now remember, we have got that little bit of leeway that we can start the final lap as late as maybe 5 seconds before time expires. So that's why I'm fairly confident with 31 being the prediction. Daniel Snedden just pointing out that Aiden has an early start tomorrow, so that might be why we're not. We haven't got Luthwaite on the grid, but we've still got a great race on our hands regardless, because even without the top two in the championship, the story now is all about Brett Barker trying to move his way back through the field. In Melbourne at the moment for Jackson Rayhana, favourite round of the season next week, favourite circuit for Jackson Rayhana as well, the streets of the Grand Prix of Detroit, Belle Isle, Michigan, and Jamie Welch flying at the moment up to 8th place. We're watching him now all over the back of Curtin Omenson like a cheap suit. Daniel Piper's in there as well. We are 11.5 minutes in to this magnificent Super Formula Lights race. So, a couple of things that I want to mention here. Firstly, Joe, if you can bring up the little graph or the totem pole on the right-hand side of our screen there that tells us the track and weather info. I can tell everybody that it's 24 degrees, the ambient 46 on track at the moment. Welch down the inside of Nomenson to 7. I just want to let everybody know with regards to the wind direction and a couple of other things there. You're right, mate. If you can find it.
Trying to find it, yep.
That's all right, because obviously it goes with the grid. So even if you've got to bring the grid back up again, that's fine by me. But yeah, there it is, the circuit information. So it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just wanted to tell everybody at home that the wind direction is heading towards that very southerly direction. As you can see, they're 160, 170 degrees. So that's a southerly with a little tip to the east, and 10km/h wind. So that's going to have a little bit of an impact on those long straights around here, with the tailwind and the light. 45% humidity as well, but no rain in sight at the moment. Thanks, Trucker. Well done. Let's continue on here and remind everybody that this is Thursday Night Motorsport on the platform for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. It is brought to you by Spreyton Spider. Oh, 3 wide. Adam Proctor down the outside to hold on to. He did well, and of course we wouldn't be able to do it. We mentioned it straight inside of Thursday Night Motorsport, but also a big shout out to Waste Options, to Orbic Australia, to Lobesy Racing, and Wave Australia and Flash Graphics for their incredible support of the club, their ongoing valued support of the platform for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and also a big thanks to those of you tuning in at home as well, tuning in via Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Don't forget merch down there in the corner. You can get online, get a hold of some of the merch. GSRC.inc, and yes, Mark Gomez doing a very nice job, up to 3 seconds now clear of Guy Leach. Bevan Moyes is all over the back of Leach. Adam Lavis, John Baldwin, Jake Slade, Jamie Welch, Adam Proctor, Kurt Nomenson and Daniel Piper in the top 10. And he's doing a very nice job here, is Mark Gomez, of just controlling this at the front, and needs to do this with regards to the championship fight. When we looked at the points tonight, he and Brett Barker were tied on points. So when you look at drop rounds, though, Barker's got a little bit more up his sleeve than Gomez does. But that will matter very little in terms of these guys trying to secure an outright win in the absence of Jackson Rayhana and Aiden Luthwaite, because it has been very hard to get in the way of those two throughout the course of this season. Here's Kurt Nomenson under pressure from Daniel Piper. Already 100 comments on a Thursday night. Very nicely done, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have that level of interaction, as I say, up against some stiff competition. The Sharks and the Dolphins, and of course the Australian Swimming Championships as well. Or the Olympic trials, I should say. So Nomenson down the inside to continue to hold Daniel Piper at bay, and does so. Thursday Night Motorsport is, of course, it doubles as open wheel night for us. Formula V into wings and slicks. Oh, Current, keep it on the black stuff, mate. Oh, picked up a bit of dirt there.
Might have a bit of movement. Matt Schmidtke. Look at where he's going. I think he might be the first of our runners to take advantage of topping the tank up, making sure everything's already going.
And it's interesting because he's only topped up for 4.5 seconds, Joe. It's a very slow pit stop, a very quick pit stop, I should say. It's literally a splash and dash. He's gone again. So, has not stopped for very long. Also on lap 4, Sam Chapman, Paul Wilson, but Matt Schmidtke on lap 7 and David Baz lap 5. Nomanson still under the pump here from Daniel Piper, who has now found a way by. Around the outside at 13.
So John Baldwin's got a little bit of company in the background here. He's got Jack Slade as... hang on, where's John? No, John's up in front. Sorry, no, Jack's got a bit of company with Jamie Turtle and he's coming up behind him there. He's closing down the last few laps, so yeah, Jack will be looking to keep a clean set of heels there when Jamie gets to him and probably duck in the draft, and hopefully Jamie can drag him back up there with the battle pack. Someone else has been pretty quiet this race so far tonight has been our old mate Adam. He's I don't think he's had any incident points. He's been keeping it clean so far tonight, and it's the sort of result he'll be looking forward to this after the bit of rough luck he had in the V's there in a couple of the races. So he'll be looking for a solid result tonight. And as Jackson said there, he'll probably definitely be a two-stopper tonight. So there's no restrictions on the tyres now, Jackson. So they can take fresh tyres at both stops if they choose so. But I think there'd probably be a time penalty involved, depending on how much rubber they take. So.
Well, this is true, and maybe that's a talking point at the end of the broadcast, Joe, when we have a few of the drivers join us. Maybe we need to ask the question about tyre wear and what their strategy play was with regards to what they took tyre-wise at what time during their pit lane transit, because we know that that can vary car to car, driver to driver, because it depends so very much on a number of factors. But if you can nurse the car and be a little bit more gentle on the tyres, you can stretch out that tyre wear a little bit, as opposed to the guys that just burn the rubber like all buggery. And we know that we've got a few, drivers that show those tyres no mercy within these platforms. There are drivers that can nurse the tyres, and there are those that can't. Just like there are those that can jump from car to car and those that can't. Here's Ray Harner. If they take rubber in the second, it'll cost time. So there you go. And that's a fair point as well, because the second stop is usually shorter than the first. But that first stop for Matt Schmidtke was very short, to be fair. It was only 5 seconds.
Might have even been a fast repair. He might have been carrying a little bit of damage from that incident he had early on. So, yeah, so as Jackson's saying there, it'll just be a splash. So the tyres won't cover the fuel drop. So I think I know that we had a 50% limit on the fuel tonight. So
okay.
I double checked all that to make sure.
Is that slightly longer than normal, or slightly bigger than normal?
It's longer. Being a bit of enduro, like in some of the shorter races, you limit the fuel down to about 34-35%. Yep. But with these longer races, if you have it there, you're looking at 3 stops, and it just takes strategy out of it. So we give them enough fuel if they want to do a backwards strategy. They might want to do a splash early on and try to keep a bit of track position and take the long one at the end of the race, or which I don't know why you'd ever do that. I think you'd want to run it out, fill it up, and save
that again.
Save a bit of fuel and just minimise that second stop for the splash to get it home, and all the while doing what you can to look after the tyres, keep them cool, keep the car under you, and obviously not get involved in any incidents. Obviously, you can't help getting caught up on somebody else's stuff, but that's usually the plan that we try anyway.
This is, I must say, this is tame compared to Formula V, ladies and gentlemen, now that it's settled down a little bit. William Banks comes to pit lane, and that's at the end of lap 10 for him. And so, as I say, we're on trajectory for about 31 laps in this race, and Jackson Rayhana makes a good point. From memory, Portimao, where we had our first 60-minute race for Super Formula Light, we had to stop a second time in that final quarter of that final quarter hour of the 1 hour race. So
that was a drive-through for Liam.
Yeah, you're right. That was a drive-through. Now that's interesting. No. So don't tell me Banks has burned up all his bloody incident points this early in the piece. Jeez. That would be a story.
Yeah.
Pete Matt from 10th at the moment, being passed by Kurt Nomenson up on the outside. Pete will want to force the issue on the inside, and does so. But then does the gentlemanly thing and lets Nomenson through.
Pete's having a good run tonight, actually. He doesn't race as much at the moment with some little issues he's got going on, but when he does get in the sim, he thoroughly enjoys his racing, and it's one of those things that can take you away from real life problems and I mean, look, sim racing brings its own problems along with it at times, let's be honest, but as we've seen a little bit tonight, but it can certainly take your mind off of real life issues you might be having, and you can just concentrate and relax the mind and enjoy what you're doing. Like we've all got a passion for racing, and this is one way that we can express it. So as Wayne visits,
it's a nice little escape.
It is a nice little escape, and we look here. Wayne visits all over Matto at the moment. So whether or not Matto might have got his size hot battling with Kurt a little bit earlier on there. So it's looking to be a good battle for him. Here we go. Pit stops are happening now.
Here we go. This is now where it gets interesting. Jake Slade, Kurt Nomenson, Pete Madsen on the way. A rough night gets even rougher. I'll say that much for Banksy. And now here comes Kurt Nomenson to pit road. And Wayne Visser is all of a sudden a factor in this show. Sitting up there in 9th place. Started from pit lane. Or either started from pit lane or came in at the end of lap 1. I'm not terribly sure which it was. And if he came in at the end of lap 1, then he didn't. And then he obviously started with the qualifying fuel tank rather than a race fuel tank. But he also got caught up in that incident as well. In the first couple of corners, did he not? So it's been a long road back for Viz.
One of the guys that got involved in the early incident as well, and he's putting in some numbers, is Jamie Welch. He's just snapped off a 1:57.24, so he's 2/10 better than the next lap. 10th and a half actually. Mark Gomez has done a 57.4, and as he enters the pit, so Mark Gomez, here he comes. He's coming in for his first pit stop, so we're probably going to see Guy Leach, Bevan Moyes, Adam Maverick. They're all in.
They were all in. It looks as though lap 12 was the critical number as regards to as far as you could go on that opening tank of fuel, that first tank of juice. So that means that we now have
come on.
Exactly. That now means that we now know where our critical numbers are for the second run, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Just want to update everybody. Young Colin Bennett has parked up for the night as well. Did so at the end of lap 8. His night is done. So the top 10 on the lane, including Wayne Visser as well. Out they roll. Gomez leads Labour Moyes.
5.05 second stop for Adam Maverick, fastest of the night so far. 7.45 for Bevan Moyes, so that's 2.5 seconds better for Adam.
Jamie Welch is going to jump Adam Proctor and move up into 5th.
They're all coming in.
Jake Slade jumped out ahead of John Baldwin and Daniel Piper and Adam Proctor as well. So Jake Slade's had a good win there on pit road, but he of course stopped a lap earlier. So the undercuts work for him and the overcut for everybody else. So here are your numbers, right? if we're going on it being a 31 lap race, which I think it will be, I mean, depending upon timings, it'll be 30 or 31. I mean, we're going around in the 1 minute 57s at the moment, so we're shaving 3 seconds off that 2 minute estimate of a lap time. So if we do that 20 times, we get a minute. We lose that through pit lane transit, but as long as we start that 31st lap, as I suspect we'll get to, within regular time, 5, 4, 3 seconds even to the hour, we should be okay. So you're looking at a 12 lap stint, which means that you want to pit at the end of lap 19, so the start of lap 20 to get home on 12 laps. So the end of lap 19 or the end of lap 24. So the shortest you can stop and get it on home, I reckon, is 19. And then the later, if you've burnt the tank just now and you've stopped on lap 12, the latest you can probably get into the lane and just do a splash and dash is the end of 24. So somewhere between 19 and 24, and provided that you hit the right notes and dot the I's and cross the T's and don't cock it up, you'll get home from there, based on the fact that we're looking at those numbers now, and it's saying that the bulk of the field waited until lap 12. I mean, look at them. Banks, Baldwin, Heaney, McNamara, Vizza, Piper, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 drivers, more than half the field pitted at the end of lap 12. So 12 laps from home is the end of lap 19, start of lap 20, and of course 12 laps from 12 is 24. So there's your window. Somewhere in that 6 lap window, you're home. And here comes Adam Laven to second.
Somebody who's going to be ruining his pit stop, John Baldwin, 47.22. I'd say he had a 40-second stop and hole. Around the average pit stop there is sort of 488 with Sam Chapman, but I think he had a stop earlier on. So yeah, definitely a 40-second stop and hold with 7.22 seconds worth of fuel and tyres for John Baldwin. So a lot of work to do to get back up into the front runners. And Daniel Piper at the moment, he's actually still your biggest mover of the night. He's up 12 positions. Wayne Vizza up 8 positions. He's the next one back in line. Maddo up 5. Kurt Nommensen 5 as well. Mark McNamara is up 7 from his starting position as well. And I've got to say, I love his paint job. I think that thing is probably one of the best looking in the field. Always reminds me of that movie Tron from, a lot of people are going to say it came out a couple of years ago. No. I'm talking about the real Tron. Came out about 1982, 1983. Yes, I'm
John, your age there, Joe.
Yeah. Yes, I'm that old. So Adam Maverick now, he's made his way up in the second, cracking pit stop.
And next target, Mark Gomez.
And he's punched the tyres with the best of them. So currently Mark Gomez's best time is a 57.40. Adam's best time is a 57.47. So he's, and he was just over 2 tenths faster than Mark Gomez on that last lap. So the full tyre performance of the car obviously suits Adam a little bit better. He's got a little bit of pace on Mark at the moment. So given another 5 or 6 laps by the time we get to the next fuel window, he should be right on.
Women's 800 metre freestyle final underway at the moment as well. At the swimming, Lani Pallister up against Ariane Titmus. Titmus leading the way there at the moment by a couple of body lengths. So we'll keep you across that as best we can. Hard to gauge who took tyres and who didn't. Yeah, that's right. First time round, if you stop long enough, 7.65 seconds. Even Sam Chapman will be actually. Well, there's the other thing. There's the other thing. Anyone that stopped before, lap 7 is probably toast with regards to running it on a 2-stop strategy. Here we go. What's going on now, Joe? We'll get a replay. We'll show you this. Liam Banksy Banks round the carousel on the run to Canada. What a moment! Into the concrete, up and over. That is spectacular. Parked in the middle of the road. Banksy on the tow road. Banksy's night is done.
I think we might
that was an incredible charge.
From a different view.
until, well, it started off terribly at turn 1. He qualified so well, and then all of a sudden it went belly up at a rapid rate of knots. Bang! Oh.
Just as it's tagged the fence, it's got it up on the right-hand side tyres, and good night on ground.
For an open wheeler, there have been some spectacular crashes tonight, but that's a bad one for an open wheel. I know that about that. And a fast one as well, right? You're carrying a lot of speed through Canada, through the carousel there on the run down to the kink. He didn't make it to the kink. He didn't make it to the kink. It would have been probably more spectacular if he did make it to the kink. Oh dear. Oh wow. Jackson Ray Harder reminding us that if you didn't take tyres now, good luck for the rest of the night. Adam Proctor down the inside of Jake Slade moves up in position number 6. So that is a very nice bit of driving from Adam Proctor, running a distinctly different livery to what we're expecting, or what we're used to, familiar with seeing from him. Banksy could be an example there. Rears might have been shot, that's true. But yeah, Banksy's night really has gone from good to bad very, very quick. Qualified so well, had it on pole at one point, was picked in the end, ended up P2. And then all of a sudden, yeah, turn 1, lap 1, and caught up in an incident. The first place you do not want to be caught up in an incident is lap 1 of the opening lap, because races can so often not be won on the opening lap, but they can well be lost. Then all of a sudden, yeah, the next time we catch up with him, that's where he is, upside down and cartwheeling out of the carousel. Disappointing.
Mano and Nommensen. Oh, his curve runs wide. That's
so
Matto a bit of a sniff to get back underneath the rear wing of Mr. Nommensen here. Oh, not that close, Pete.
Definitely not. Jeez. Hold on, Pete. 16 laps gone at the 32-minute mark. Mark Gomez leads us back across the line. Running around the 1:57.775 that time by. So again, we're looking good for, as I say, only just, but we are looking on track for. Well, we've got 16 laps in 32 minutes, but if we shave enough time off here, we may just be able to sneak in a 31st lap.
Brett's had something going
at the end of the race.
Strange.
But if we can't get to 31, then obviously 30 means that the critical numbers are going to be still 24, but it'll be. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, that one seemed to go on forever for Brett. He's had. I was looking at. He had a big bunch of stuff there, and he's just towed. Paul Wilson's been through the pits again. That's unlucky for Brett.
But if we do go 30, not 31, then obviously it'll be the end of lap 18. Not would be the earliest we can get home. So keep an eye on that. And I'm not terribly sure how long the transit time is here either, and that's the other contributing factor. In retirement, unfortunately. Sorry, Joe?
40 seconds plus the stop time, so...
Okay, so...
Just short of 40 seconds, like 39 and a half.
Yeah, copy that. So, I mean, there's a minute and 20 or so, so... We're losing a little bit of time there, but we've still got that buffer of about 30 seconds. As I say, our buffer's about a minute 57 here, and if we get back to the line at about 59, 57, yes, that 31st lap would count in the race here. And I've always got to factor that into the calculations if we're running around here at Road America. So, unfortunately, in retirement is our good mate Liam Banks, who has stepped into the commentary box to say hello to us. Banksy, it was going so well. You had great pace, and then all of a sudden the race started.
Yeah, well, I was so excited from qualifying in second that I was actually like shaking like a leaf at the start of the race, and I couldn't calm down. So I pre-forgiven myself for the first crash because I knew I was going to crash because I couldn't calm down. Well, I just wanted to come in and apologise to Smitky for that bit of contact in the first lap. I accidentally went up a gear, so I had no pull when I was trying to defend from Barker, and I was just panicking, and I didn't realise he popped up on the inside. But yeah, I was quite happy with the race after that first incident. I was coming back through nicely, and I'd settled down, calmed down, and had a nice pace, but then got a drive through because I already picked up 2 or 3 pieces of contact before then. So I was already in the limit for instant points, and then just took them back. Pardon?
What is the incident point limit?
17.
Okay, copy that. Yeah, didn't leave you much to play with, did it?
No, had to drive through, and then after that I was just pushing and spun out the cold tyres. But yeah, just wanted to mainly come in and apologise for Matt Spitke. So yeah.
Copy that, mate. Hey, just stay with us there, because I'm trying to crunch the numbers on the spot here to give everybody an indication as to when we're expecting pit stops. Anytime from the next time by the line to complete lap 19, because we're just completing lap 18 now. Anything around about that lap 19 to 24 marker is what we're anticipating. And Jamie Welch has the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 57.244. They're still in the 57.6s. And I'm just having a look and just trying to work out how we possibly... I'm starting to lean towards we're not going to get to 31 laps. Again, we always... Once we're this close to the 2-minute marker, we're taking back seconds at a time. We're only taking about 2.5 seconds per lap out of that 2 minutes at the moment. So, I mean, 2.5 times 4 is 10 seconds. So you have to get 24 laps to get a minute. That only brings you back to 59, but because of what Joe has said there with regards to how long the pit lane transit is, that's probably going to burst the bubble there with regards to getting to 31 laps, and that alone. Happy to be proven wrong, but at the moment I'm leaning towards 30, which means that, as you're seeing there, David Baz is pitting now. So David Baz is obviously of the belief that at the end of lap 18, he can get 12 laps out of the tank and get home, so he's not expecting it to get 31 either. It would be at the discretion of Mark Gomez, who is the race leader here. He's the pace setter, so he could be the difference between getting to 31 and not. But at the moment, I'm leaning towards the fact that he won't. But yeah, Bagsy, you would have been overjoyed with the pace in qualifying. I mean, no Ray Harner, no loose weight, but I mean Gomez and Barker, the next best in the championship, and you'd slice between them just beautifully.
Yeah, it was lovely. I have one strength, which is I'm very good on the brakes, and so that also means I'm very good through 90-degree corners. So this track is almost tailor-made for me, particularly because the carousel type section, I don't know what the actual name of the corner is.
No, the carousel is the corner. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, is flat. It's if you do it right, it's flat. So, or even on cold tyres, it's just a tiny lift, just to get a little bit of rotation in the middle. Otherwise, you might wash out too wide. But it's flat. So all the corners suited me. So I don't expect to be that fast anywhere else. But that's why I was so excited. I'm still shaking a bit actually. So I need to go and calm down. But they'll definitely get to the end from here. Easy. Anyone that's pitted here, after you can get 25 minutes out of it easy. I wasn't fuel saving.
13 laps essentially is what you're saying.
Yeah, I didn't fuel save at all, and the reckons I put in lap 14. So yeah, you can. I mean, I had a couple of instances, so that's probably not completely representative, but yeah, I think 14 laps is not hard.
Okay, interesting analysis from you, because I mean obviously we looked at the critical number as 12 only because that's when the vast majority of the field did stop, as you say, when you came in there at 14. That was after getting your fast repair on lap 1, was it not? Did you have to get a fast repair?
No, I didn't fast repair on lap 1. No, I just continued. I didn't pit until my first time for the pits was would have been lap 12, which is when I had the drive through, and I didn't pit, and then I pit in lap 14. So obviously I wanted to save me a little bit of fuel, but I had 0.6 of tank left. Okay. 0.06 a lap. 0.6 a lap.
What you're saying is we're already well and truly in the pit window then. That you can top up and get home. Interesting analysis from you. Hey, just quickly, one way of guaranteeing a place and presence on the highlight reel, mate, is a spectacular crash. And unfortunately, as you say, the carousel, if you get it right, you can go flat through there. But unfortunately, you didn't get it right, and it brought about your downfall.
Yeah, well, I hadn't had much practice going through there behind someone, and I have struggled with being trapped in these cars, as anyone that's watched will have seen. I struggled with that. Yeah, there goes. There's Lavis, and he's gone before, so I think it's the end.
He's one of the smart guys when it comes to this sort of thing. So he was getting in a bit of a battle there. So I think he's probably thought discretion's a better part of valor. Get my fuel to get me home, and he'll hope to get a little bit of green track around him with no one, and he's done exactly that. So he's got nobody in front or behind him. Daniel Piper's enough behind him that shouldn't worry him. Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're right, mate. Thank you for jumping in there and letting us know. And Pete Matson also on pit road right now as well. Lavis back out in 7th spot. The best of those two have stopped twice. Wayne Visit will need to stop again as well. We know that. He stopped, it's showing 2 pit stops completed there. The second of those on lap 12, so he's on the same strategy as most of those around him. But Lavis has zigged a little bit quicker than the rest of them. Bevan Moyes is the one to watch, sitting in 4th place at the moment, having stopped on lap 12, having fought his way back through from that turn 1 incident. Hey, Banksy, whilst we've still got you, you must be looking forward to grand final week in 2 respects. Commentating Wednesday night and what should be a cracker of a GT4 finale, and then of course Thursday night as a racer. I mean, we're off to Magellan in the V's, and I'm already excited about that, already chomping at the bit. But then the Concrete Canyon at the streets of Detroit, Belle Isle, Michigan, the Grand Prix circuit there, formerly used by IndyCar before they abandoned it for the streets of downtown. I mean, it's fraught with danger because of the Concrete Canyon nature of it, but what a great place to end the championship.
Oh, it's a brilliant place to end the championship, and I know ahead of time I will crash, so I'm not going to be disappointed when I do. But again, it's all 90-degree corners, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Belle Isle's one of my favourite tracks on this service, so that's going to be excellent. And the Interlagos, is it Interlagos for the, not for the GT4, it's Interlagos for the production car, I believe, in the 86s, which will be spectacular. So I'm very much looking forward to commentating on that, because that Interlagos is just beautiful stuff.
I tell you now, Len, there's a reason why Detroit Belle Isle is the grand final for next week. It's going to be, for the majority of the season I followed the official, but obviously we overlapped during the week 13 and whatnot in the start of the next season, and I was always going to throw that track in. It's going to be like, whoever wins the championship when they come out of there is going to deserve it, because you've got to keep it off the walls, you've got to keep it off the curbs, and you've got to keep it out of other cars as well and get a strong result. And you cannot put a toe wrong or blink. Like, you've just got to be on it for the whole race. I'm really excited to see how the guys tackle Detroit Belle Isle next week. I think in these cars, I went and did a few laps when I decided that track, and my God, you have to concentrate every square inch of the track. And my key corner is turn 2.
And it's a sprint, isn't it?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, so turn 2. Matto, we've got an incident.
Righto, we'll get to that. We'll see that on replay. We've got cars coming into the lane. Bevan Moyes on his way in. This is Pete Matson at turn 1.
Oh, cold tyres.
Loop-de-loop. And gone.
Oh, he almost saved it.
Not bad. Not bad. Hand off the racing line as well, so it should allow everybody to go through peacefully without incident. So grand final week for everybody tuning in at home. We're going to run through this a little bit later on. I want to alert your attention to, you know about Monday night, we've done that to death already. Tuesday night, venue, Phillip Island, just quietly. Now that's much better than Winton as far as I'm concerned. Phillip Island for, firstly, the Ferrari GT3. Secondly, the Formula V, which, I mean, a 30-minute race in the V's around there. oh boy, my voice box might not last grand final week. And the up-and-comers, grand finale of the grand finale will be the Mazda MX-5 Cup. From the same venue. So Phillip Island next Tuesday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 7:20 actually Eastern Standard Time, make a note of that. The boys are talking about the home of the Brazilian Grand Prix Interlagos for the production cars, but then, and that's of course sprint racing, but then a 60-minute race again from Phillip Island for GT4. And Thursday night, Magello into Detroit Grand Prix Belle Isle, and then the NASCARs on the Friday night for Joe and Nick from Daytona, which will be awesome. From the International Speedway on the Oval. And then the Mountain Men Grand Finale for the term will be from Saturday night for the GT1s that time around. So, I mean, all of that subject to change, but at the moment, that is looking like an exceptional grand final week. And added I guess, incentive with GT4 at the moment, Banksy, because, whoa, Adam Proctor! 2 wheels in the gravel there as well. Jeez, that was commitment plus, maybe overcommitted. Round, gone. Greg Heaney's looped it. Unfortunately, we're putting the kiss of death on Greg Heaney just by showing him on the camera. Have a look at this. Greg Heaney's looped it all on his own. Turn 6.
Just
Plays
over
another
the
one.
crest of the hill.
Unlucky. I guess, Banksy, you've watched enough of the racing since the Tempest weather system launched. Added excitement in GT4 circles now at the moment, mate, with the recent update. You can go and play in the rain in GT4 as well now. I mean, it's been done to death, we know that. There's probably been a little bit of exaggeration and saturation on it, but when used in moderation and when deployed correctly, that Tempest weather system is next level.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. I haven't had the pleasure of commentating about race yet, but driving in them is just phenomenal. It's hard to explain how different it is to any other weather system I've played in any game. It's so much more variable, and you really do have to drive with feel. If you drive by rote, you will either be slow or you will crash. You just can't do it. So it's fantastic. You can it really does separate the drivers that have just got the innate skill and those that are fast because they learn the track, because the ones that are fast just because they learn the track and they memorize the braking turn and put them to repeat ad nauseum really struggle in the way.
Hello to Angus Cook, the former El Presidente of the club, cheering on from Stockholm, if you don't mind. Have a look at that. How good's that? Good on you, Cookie. Well done, mate. Great to have you on board. Feel free to come back to us anytime you like. Feel free to jump back in the server anytime you like. But just going back to Banksy's point, well, now that you've got GT4 given the wet weather treatment, you may well have the chance as Mark Gomez comes to pit lane, so too Guy Leach, Jamie Watts. So they've all gone 12 and 12. That eliminates any confusion, that eliminates any sort of strategy variance out of the discussion here. Gomez, Leach and Welch are all on pit road now. Adam Lavis, Bevan Moyes will be about to join them, and Cookie's on his way back, which is good fun. We look forward to seeing you back soon, mate. It has been far too long, but we're glad you've enjoyed your travels, and all the very best to you for what's to come there. 28 for the Sharks, 30 for the Dolphins. Dolphins home by 2 points Thursday night football in the NRL, 30-28. Sharks scored late and missed the conversion attempt to force it to Golden Point. Dolphins home by 2. And it's Jackson Rayhana with the hashtag when in relation to Angus Cook. But yes, with the fact that you're going to Phillip Island for GT4 and knowing that Phillip Island can try out 4 seasons in a day, Banksy, I've got a gut feeling that you will have a fair chance of calling a wet weather race in GT4 next Wednesday night if they're so cruel enough to deploy that on everybody or throw that at everybody as one hell of a grand final challenge.
I believe they were going to hold off because some people have been reporting issues with crashing with the rain.
Oh, no.
Those with a certain use, I think. Don't quote me on this, but I believe they were going to hold off for the GT4s for next week, and then perhaps look at it and implementing it next season. Assume there is next season. We'll have to wait a couple of weeks before we get the before we get the schedule for next season. But I'm going to go, boys. Enjoy calling the last 10 minutes of the race.
All right, mate. Thank you for stopping on by and having a chat to us. It's always a shame to see you here this early in the evening, though, Banksy. Hopefully we'll see you taking the checkered flag next week, mate.
Well, yeah, if we can take the checkered flag more than twice in the season, I'll be happy at this point. But that's what happens when we get less seconds. I get so nervous.
Yes. Nerves do funny things to funny people, mate, but great to catch up. Go well for your call on Wednesday night as well, while I think of it.
Yeah, thank you very much, and enjoy Grand Final week.
Fantastic.
We absolutely will.
Mate, well done.
We absolutely will enjoy Grand Final week. Looking forward to it immensely. There he is, Liam Banks. Right, up we go. Guy Leach, Mark Gomez with... Oh, jeez, they're not making it any easy for me, Joe. This is going to... No, I mean, with regard to the calculations, it looks as though we're only going to run to 30, but it's going to be a 15th in it as far as the timings are concerned. I mean, it's going to be 3 or 4 seconds either way here, and I think it's going to be just in favour of the clock wins, and we'll only go to 30 laps. So everybody's right to get the flag. We know that. We thank Banksy for his clarification on that, but gee, there's nothing in it. Speaking of nothing in it, Guy Leach and Bevan Moyes fighting for what is second position in the car race. Adam Lavis is 4th, Jamie Welch is 5th. Raver still holding on to 4th, doing a nice job, but this is where the only battle on track sits right now. Barker fighting back to 11th, but is on pit road to get a splash and dash top up to get into the checkered flag. A case of what might have been. Wayne Visser is 12th, Kurt Nomenson 13th, and John Baldwin 14th, and David Baz in 15th. To everybody's credit, I mean, we've lost Brett Bradbury. We've already detailed Liam Banks over the last 10 minutes. We lost Colin Bennett on lap 9. So Brett Bradbury, the only retirement, whilst we've not been paying attention to that end of the ledger. Pete Madsen, the last of the runners at the moment. Not a lap down as yet is Pistol Peak. So 19 of the 22 that started are on their way to the checkered flag. So not too much in the way of attrition tonight, Joe.
Pretty good percentages, for sure. So
despite all the early race drama, I should say.
Yeah, and they're not. If anyone's out there that hadn't actually driven the car, it's not easy to drive. Like, it's not a monster like its big brother is. Like the super formulas that you got to be a crackpot to want to drive that thing. But this car is a this car's a great balance. It reminds me a lot of the old Renault Formula 2.0, but on steroids. Like it's got a bit more downforce, it's got a bit more grip. It's you know, it's a good thing. And it's only got a little. I think these have got a Toyota Echo motor in them, I think, or something. Like they're only a little engine, but they've got a turbo on them, obviously. So they still make a decent amount of horsepower, but. The guys have put on pretty good racing with them all season so far, and realistically not a lot of incidents. Like for an open wheel, high downforce car, normally you'll get a lot of, you know, just a lot of silly little things. It's been, probably a lot calmer than I was expecting it to be, like for the whole season, which has been great.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, they certainly tried to make up for that in the first 2 or 3 laps tonight, but
they did.
For you know, the vast majority of it, I should say, it's been really well done by all and sundry. 3 laps from home. Mark Gomez the leader, 4.1 to this battle here, and that's it. Good on you, Jackson Ray Hunter. Thank you. Geez, he's all over this. Rogue A cheap suit is Jackson Ray Hunter. He loves these cars, loves the open wheelers, loves where we're going to for the grand finale next week, loves the fact that he's about to put another number 1 trophy in the Summit Sim Sports stable and on his car. Hopefully a title defence on the way next term as well. But it looks as though we're going to entice him and a few others back to the GT3 grids next season as well, with the implementation of the Corvette and the Mustang, and we're very excited about both of those, and of course cannot wait to see what the calendar looks like for the new term starting Monday, July 8th, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you can join us for that. 3 laps to go.
I know what it is, but I'm not going to divulge anything until Tuesday next week. But this is hiding up at the front.
Okay, copy that.
It's right underneath the right wing of the guy leads.
Hang on. Did you say Tuesday or Thursday? Because normally...
I was thinking that Tuesday or Thursday. Yeah,
okay, right. All right.
We'll see. So,
I'm all for it. I mean, I look forward. I look forward to being in the house when that is confirmed. Actually, to be fair, Tuesday's probably the better of the nights to do it because it'll be the earliest of the finishes. So if we do that and get hold of the prime time audience, some of them might even stick around and watch the up-and-comers, the Van Ryn Cup finale. So we're looking forward to that. I'll let you guys, though, at committee level, dot the I's and cross the T's, and you just tell me when we're going to drop the bomb. Drop the microphone next week. It's going to be great.
We were pretty much 100% locked in, but there may be a very, very late change by one of the runners wants to change a car. So we'll have a chat about that probably tomorrow night, and and then we'll lock it in, Eddie. So but there's a couple of exciting things coming next season.
There always are.
Yeah, so we'll leave it till Tuesday night for the big reveal, I think, Tuesday or Thursday, whichever way it's going to be. But there's some exciting news in the pipeline. So, but this race, talk about exciting. Bevan Moyes, I'll tell you what, Bevan's been patient, as Jackson said there. He's sort of stuck right there with Guy, and I mean, this is a really good showing by Guy tonight. Actually, I don't think he's put a foot wrong all night. So, Adam, he's been there in third. He had a longer pit stop, and I think he dropped out of that draft, and he's still maintaining his pace. He's still 3 seconds behind Bevan, but he'll probably struggle to pull that in and hit the podium by the end of the race, because we've got only about another 2-3 laps, I reckon. 2 laps, yeah.
So that's where my money is.
3 minutes.
Just keep your eye on the flag stand here. There should be a white flag in the air next time by. Given that we're not going to be halfway through this lap at the 3 minutes ago marker. So, white flag next time round, ladies and gentlemen, and only very fine, very small margins in it in regards to getting to that potential 31st lap, literally seconds in it. But anyway, Art Gomez is on his way home. Guy Leach is there in second spot. As was pointed out in the comments there, Bevan Moyes, sharp EIT, being so patient, ready to charge towards Guy Leach. That battle for second will go right down to the wire. And also the battle between Jake Slade and Sam Chapman for 7th. Also David Baz, John Baldwin for 12th. Also Mark McNamara and Matt Schmidtke for 15th. All of a sudden, we went from having one battle to having 4. Schmidtke to the inside goes to 15th. McNamara had his job done. And Moyes has got by Leach as well. Moyes has got by Leach.
Let's have a look.
Finally. He had been waiting and finally found his opportunity to pounce from where else but Canada corner. Oh, we're in America. 101, Joe.
Great.
Whoa.
Perfectly executed. Well done, Bevan. That was great work.
Oh, no, Jamie Walsh is off the road. Jamie Walsh is off the road. But he's got back on the racetrack, so he's probably just kicked up the class and kept on going. White flag in the air. Let's go. One more time around.
Here we go. It's waving for Mark Gomez.
He's already gone. So too Guy Leach, Bevan Moyes, Adam Lavis and Jamie Welch. All on the last lap. Everybody else 32 then plus seconds down the road.
Guy Leach is back by him again.
Oh, they're going to be side by side in a minute. So this is the last lap, Triller with the battle for second. Moyes back down the inside for turn 5 and gets him back. Now, the run out of this corner so key. Oh, they both fogged it up.
The foot. Oh, but he got there.
Down the inside. Leach got him. Welch is back down the inside for the right hand in the next corner and gets him back and now covers it off. It took 3 corners longer than he was anticipating. Leach bails out of it. Leach can't afford to motor another second time. Leach does so, and therefore Bevan Boys gets to breathe a sigh of relief. It's only 3 car lengths, but still, that's good enough around here for mine, Joe.
Bevan's loose, coming out of the carousel. He's going to lose his speed
That is ridiculous.
Down to the kink. No, I don't think he's close enough for the draft. So
Chapo's off the road. We'll get back to him in a moment, but Chapo's been off the road, and that battle with Jake Slade is now curtains over. Back to 8 he goes. In the meantime, Mark Gomez is coming out of the final corner. The race is about to be run and won, and he has done himself all the favours in the world in his aspirations to be third home in the championship fight. Mark Gomez too good on a Thursday night at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin's Road America circuit. Second and Morris holds off a fast finishing Leach. Adam Lavis in for 4th, and Jamie Welch with the fastest lap of the race earlier in the night comes home to round out. Oh, hang on, no.
Out of fuel.
Comes home in 5th? No, he's not there. He has not got to the line. I'm not sure if he's got to the line. Yes, he has. He's okay.
Jamie.
What the hell's going on there? Adam Proctor in 6th place. Jake Slade will be 7th. Then Sam Chapman, Daniel Piper and Paul Wilson to make up the top 10. Well done, Mark. Mark Gomez, too good. Getting the job done. What a time to do it in relation to the championship situation. Brett Barker is only going to come home in... he's not going to come home. Barker's parked up. Barker parked up a couple of laps ago. We didn't see that. So it's a DNF for Barker. Wow. There are championship implications written all over this one. I mean, Aidan Luthwaite as well could be in danger of losing second position now that Gomez has come through and won tonight, and that Luthwaite wasn't on the grid. So we'll see what comes of that once Adam Lavis has crunched the numbers. But what a night out. What a race. What a performance from Mark Gomez. Evan Moyes Guy Leach, that went right down to the very end, and they both tried to throw it away. And Adam Lavis in for 4th. Adam Proctor was 6th. Jake Slade, Sam Chapman, Daniel Piper, Paul Wilson, Wayne Visser, David Baz, John Baldwin, Kurt Nomanson and Mark McNamara made up the finishes. Greg Heaney in for 16th after a shocker of a night. He had 3 or 4 spins along the way. Then into Matt Schmidtke in 17th, and 18th was Pete Matson. The rest of them are retirements.
Here was Chapo's little... It's got him the same, just right
every
on
time.
That kink. He's in behind, and yeah, just a little bit too much brake pressure, pinched the rears only a little bit, but it's going up there a little bit, and you can have a lot of trouble there. So yeah, very unfortunate for him.
Very unfortunate indeed. Oh boy. Joe Baldwin, Zach Caban with you. It's Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. And there are your results from Road America. Brett Barker, if he was in the server when when the checkered flag waved, he'll still be classified. But I think he's actually disconnected before the server finished. So therefore, he is done. And that's rather unfortunate for him. Even though 19th wouldn't have brought in many points whatsoever. The fact that his chances at 2nd or 3rd in the championship going out of tonight, going into next week, they went up in smoke at turn 1. And he never really recovered. Wow. Mark Gomez, Bevan Moyes, Guy Leach, Adam Lavis and Jamie Welch, your top 5. We've got Jake Slade and Kurt Nomanson in here alongside us to have a chat about all of that. Jake in, it says 7th. I'm just wondering if that's lucky or not, Jake.
I think it is, man. I only bought this car probably an hour before the race, so I've had very minimal time in it. And
that's very lucky then.
Yeah, very minimal time in any open wheeler, really. So I'm just trying to broaden my horizons a bit.
What were, in that instance then, considering it is new sort of territory for you, what are your first impressions and how did you find it out there tonight?
These things are an absolute bunch of fun. They can get away from you quite quickly because you're right on the edge of grip at all times. So one slight mistake or even just hitting a bump at the wrong pitch just sends you, and you've got to have cat-like reflexes. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and the racing was great tonight.
Indeed it was. I mean, some great racing out there. And for you, I mean, sure, it says here on the leaderboard that you were 8 seconds ahead of the next best on circuit, Sam Chapman, and 5.5 seconds behind Adam Proctor. But we know Chapo was putting the pressure on right until the very final lap when he looked it around at turn 6, which we just saw on screen there.
Yeah, I was starting to feel the soft breath of Chapman on my neck. It was getting a bit scary. I was just trying to keep my eyes forward and just try and put good laps in. The tyres were starting to get a bit, I took tyres in the first stop and then didn't on the second, so they were sort of getting towards the end of their life towards the end there, so starting to lose a bit of pace, and the track was getting pretty hot too, so I was probably overdriving the car a smidge and probably just heating them up a bit too much. But yeah, I could definitely see him coming in the rear view. It was a bit of a scary sight, and yeah, had that unfortunate, I'm not sure what he did he lock a rear or...
Joe explained it better than anybody. He just lost the rear end on the bump, did he not?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, just a little bit too much brake pressure and turned the steering. It just comes under the bridge, just pinched the rears and spun him off.
Yeah, just as it gets light there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, to be honest, GT3 cars, supercars, Vs, Skippies,
they all do it.
They all do it there. The bump there, it's quite a tricky part of the circuit. You've really got to pay attention through there just to keep the car under you, and unfortunately it stepped out.
We're not going to be confused at all here in the commentary box in a moment, because we've got both Baldwins in the house, and I think that might be a GSRC first, ladies and gentlemen, to have both John and Joe in the booth at the same time. We'll get to John in just a moment. Hey, just while we've got you though, Jake, I mean, as you say, broadening your horizons, so I mean, I'm led to believe by what you're saying there that you're more of a tin top guy, but after your initial hit out here, is there a chance that we might see you in an open wheeler more often?
Yeah, I'm thinking next season I'm going to, obviously I was a bit late to the party with GT4s. I'm definitely going to be doing supercars and GT4s, and I might even do these at the end of the week, so just try and do a full season and see how we go.
Can I bring your attention to Formula V, mate? I reckon that's the best fun you can have in open wheels. I mean, I might be a little bit biased, but I'm inclined as someone that's obliged to be here by way of, they make sure that Formula V is slotted on a Thursday night so I can commentate it. I'm obliged to make sure, therefore, the entertainment is top shelf and there's as many bums in seats as possible, not just in the server, but also in the lounge rooms watching on via Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. So think about Formula V as well before you worry too much about any of the other open wheelers.
Yeah, I'll definitely give them a go. I've had a bit of a drive in them, not too much. Just couldn't really work him out, so I think a bit of seat time, I'll work him out.
Finally, Joe, we've only been waiting for 2 hours for this, and thank you to Nick Wood for clarification on that. We were thinking that you'd started to veer in the wrong direction, go right instead of left, mate. But no, that is clarification from Nick Wood that the last race of the Vs, he ended up with a penalty with regards to the incident with Kevin Henderson by the looks of the bottom line of that explanation, and therefore didn't want to end up on the podium and then be stripped of the podium. So basically he says to us, look, he should explain himself. He didn't want to end up on the podium, and therefore we call it as we see it on the circuit. But we'd already called you across the post, mate. You had 3-4 car lengths on them, and then we had to go back and retract. So I mean, all good.
And I just want to clarify too that that's great sportsmanship. And that's exactly what we like to see, and this is why we are called the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, right? Is great acts of sportsmanship like that. Kudos to Nick. I mean, obviously there's going to be the penalty there anyway that would have dealt with it, but to take it off his own back and deal with it, mate. Hats off, mate. Well done.
Very much so indeed. Righto. Hey, Jake, next week, obviously, Supercars Mount Panorama, GT3's Road America, GT4, of course, we're looking at them at, I believe it's Phillip Island. So, I mean, three of the best for three of the best categories we've got going at the moment in terms of the numbers and the participation.
Yeah, it's a good last round, definitely. I think Bathurst is going to be quite entertaining, with especially this new damage model. You know, you used to be able to brush the walls quite frequently and sort of get away with just a 0x and no real deficit in a straight line. But yeah, it's a slight brush now is quite detrimental to your speed. So yeah, it's going to be a good race. I'm going to do a bit of practice tomorrow. I've also got to do a bit of practice because me and Daniel Snedden are doing the Watkins 6 hour on Saturday, so
yep,
that'll be a lot of fun.
Big weekend.
Yeah.
You blokes, no doubt about that. We wish you the best of luck with that. Hey, look at Joe. Look at the comment here from our good mate Chris Stark, blaming work for the fact that he's missed most of the race, and this is coming from someone that has on record publicly disclosed that he's gone back and watched replays in the past. He's carrying on as though there's no replay to be watched. Very nicely done, Starkey. Thank you for that. And very nice to have you in the booth as well, Jake Slade. Thank you for that, mate. I mean, one thing I do want to ask you as we go here. Obviously, if you're going to pick a race circuit to debut in an open wheeler on, no better than Road America, mate. But compared to some of the other cars you've driven, talk to me about where this one stacks up, and tell me about the tyre wear, because that was something that they were talking about in the comments and we were talking about here in commentary during most of the call. Was it good or bad?
I found it quite manageable. I wasn't pushing overly hard the whole race because I just being my first race and not having much seat time. I don't know where you can push in these things, and I tend to actually just be a bit faster if I just drop it back a few pegs. The left side did definitely towards the end feel like it was scrubbing a lot. You just felt it around some of the higher load corners. It just felt like it was just pushing. But I think as long as the track was hot, but as long as you just don't overdrive the car, I think it's manageable. I came into the race not even knowing if you needed to take tyres at the stop, so I just went down a bit of a limb and just took a set. So I think it worked out well.
All right, mate, very nicely done. And what are you most excited about once we get through Grand Final week? I mean, firstly, the 2 weeks off from club commitments, GSRC commitments. I can only imagine that the racing still will occur. It just won't be in our service. You guys won't necessarily, park up and hang up the wheel for a couple of weeks. There'll still be racing to be done elsewhere in officials and the like. But then, as far as our club's concerned and what we've got coming up, how excited are you for Term 3 already?
Yeah, Term 3 is going to be great. As soon as I missed the first round this season for supercars, I'm keen to give it a crack. Yeah, I'll probably have a few weeks off, to be honest. I've quite a lot of work coming up, so yeah. I might just jump in dribs and drabs here and just do a bit of practice and just really try and get my head straight for the next season and knuckle down and really concentrate on, even if I can try and if I can get a top 5 this season and hopefully a top 3 next season would be ideal. Indeed.
Indeed. Guy, well done, mate. 7th on debut in the Wings and Slicks for Super Formula Light. Looking forward to hopefully seeing you on the grid for Belle Isle for Detroit next Thursday night, or is a street race and a 3-race program and the potential inverts just a little bit too daunting at this stage for a newbie to these cars? Oh no, he's already gone. He didn't answer. He didn't answer the question. I think he just no. I've been left on hold. Yeah. Anyway, all right, we'll press on. Curtin Ovinson's here, Guy Leach as well. So too, John Baldwin, and I'm going to get to John first so that we can have the John and Joe show. I've been looking forward to this for a while, ladies and gentlemen. The two Baldwins in the house. Have a look at this. Hey, John, thanks for stopping on by, mate. We do appreciate this. 13th tonight. interesting. And just as I say, that Sam Chapman's joined us in the house as well, so we'll get to Chapo in just a tick. But before we let Chapo take over the floor here, and we've got to talk to him about his final lap as well, let's talk to you about your race. You're not at the offense, hello, Chapo. And what you made of the hour, considering that you qualified 9th and finished 13th.
Yeah, it helps when you don't speed through the pits and get help for 40 seconds, so that kind of shot myself in the foot then, so yeah.
The other ball would
threw away a good result.
Yeah. Those 40 seconds, they crucify you, don't you?
Yeah, mate, that killed.
Still
in saying that, though,
still a better week than you had last week with a couple of penalties. I hate to say I had to hand a penalty to John last week in RC, but we actually had a chat later on. And how did you go with obviously some people don't know, but John raced on a single screen, and we had a chat about some different programs and stuff that can help him in Race Labs and a couple others. How did you find using apps like that for the immersion in the game, John? Did it help you out?
Well, the problem I had, Joe, was I had the free subscription, and with the free subscription, those overlays actually leave big black boxes on the screen unless you pay for it. So in all honesty, I bailed on it, and I got Brett Barker to help me out by sort of positioning his car alongside me so I could adjust my virtual mirror to give me a better indication of where people were.
Yep.
So sort of did it that way. I'd still like to have the Race Labs overlay, but at this stage I'm not prepared to pay for it because it's just not something that I can see like the value in how much it costs me for the amount of times I'm going to use it.
Yep. Fair enough.
But the principle of it is awesome. I like it. I think it's a good idea. It's just a shame that you can't, without having to pay, because I mean I only need it for that function, but you're paying for the rest of the functions which I'm not going to use.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you can move them around and put them sort of down either side of your cockpit and stuff as well. But if you use, a lot of people like racing, like for the immersion side, like racing without any overlays whatsoever. I wish I was one of those people. People come in and look at all the overlays I run with, and they're like, how do you see where you're going? But it's different strokes for different folks, and it's just a matter of finding what works for you. So, but either way, even after the penalty, John, it's you had a strong qualifying tonight. I think you qualified 9th and finished 13th after 40-second penalties. So the pace was definitely there, just a little bit too speedy into the pits.
Yeah, just I think I must have hit the wrong button on the screen coming in. I was sort of busy looking at the braking marking so I can maximise that, and probably just neglected to hit the pit limiter button on the way in.
Okay.
That'll get you every time.
Yep.
John, it is a rare treat for us to have you in here having a chat with us, mate. How have you found these cars and racing the season as a whole, mates? Are you happy, apart from the obvious, indiscretion tonight, are you happy with how it's played out, and are you looking forward to finishing it off next week in Detroit?
Maybe not so much looking forward to Detroit because it's a bit of a Mickey Mouse circuit, but I really love the cars and the fact that we've used the wet weather in it a few times has been really interesting, and there's been a heap of really great retro F1 liveries on trading paints, which I'm just sort of swapping to and from each week, so looking for another one next week to finish off the last round and hopefully keep it off the walls.
I'd say try and find a retro IndyCar one for next week.
That's it. That's
Detroit
the challenge.
And IndyCar, there's a fair bit of history there. So, a hot tip for you if you want to look for a livery. Try and find a retro IndyCar one.
Yep. Well, I actually had my eye on the HSBC Jaguar livery for next week.
Okay. Nice.
Interesting.
Back in the day, helped Hyperstimulator launch Jag in Melbourne and Sydney, and got to hang out with Jackie Stewart and Herbert and Irvine for a few weeks. Nice. It was good.
and two characters of the paddock there, no doubt, in Johnny Herbert and Eddie Irvine, who, of course, before he went to Jaguar, was second to the great 7-time world champion, the one and the only M. Schumacher.
Probably got screwed by Schumacher and out of a championship too, really, when he broke his leg.
So. Yeah, absolutely. And although, let's be perfectly honest, Irvine stepped up to the plate beautifully there and had to, hold the fort as '1 driver for a while in 1999 after Michael had his incident in the British Grand Prix and broke his legs. So, it's an interesting one, isn't it? We could sit here and have the chat about #1s and #2s all day long, but all I'll say is multi-21, and that'll end the discussion for the moment. I don't think we need to go any further than that. Hey, John, what else have you been dabbling in this season, mate? And how much are you looking forward to Term 3, and how much have you been enjoying some of the most recent implementations by iRacing? Because some of them have been they've really reinvigorated things that breathe new life into our club, into our competitions, into our championships, but also, of course, into the server as a whole.
Yeah, the wet weather's done it for me. It's basically made it almost a brand new piece of software. It's just a bit of a shame we've got some bugs with it that are affecting people, so we can't run it across the board. Because I know Leachy has issues with it in the wet weather and can't. His computer dies on him. So once they get that sorted and we can use it everywhere with everyone, I think that's going to be brilliant.
Indeed, and obviously, will we see you in GT3 next season, mate, in the Mustang Corvette war?
Maybe. I'm going to stick with the wings and slicks, see what the production cars bring. But wings and slicks definitely, and then it'll be either a toss-up between production cars or maybe back to GT3.
On that subject, actually, and I'll let John go in just a moment, but I'm going to ask Joe a couple of questions at the end of the night, but I must say from the outset, on behalf of all of us, full commendations to the club and the committee, because everybody's talking about Term 3 already, and it's in excess of 3 weeks away. It's not until July 8th that we reconvene here, and as Josh Zoino alluded to earlier, the fact that everybody's got the ducks in the line and plans in place that we can announce what Term 3 is going to look like before Term 2 even ends. Normally that's you guys are so far ahead of the ball at the moment. It's fantastic to see, and we're the beneficiaries for that, because it just means that we go into that 2-week break being able to plan immediately for the end of it, the start of Term 3. So no, well done to all involved, because as we say, normally when we have a 2-week break, normally we don't sit here and talk about calendars and schedules and all that sort of stuff. Normally that stuff just gets confirmed, maybe partway through the holiday, but it looks as though the boys are going to be able to hit their markers and hit the gas and get going with confirmation of what's going to be on when. May not necessarily be able to give you a full calendar breakdown in terms of what weeks are going to be sprints, what weeks are going to be enduros, and what circuits we're going to have. That may come a little bit later, but at least you guys can go and start playing in the toys that are going to be front and centre in Term 3 once we tell you what they are next Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday. Very nicely done. Hey,
they'll be able to go into negotiations with their better halves on what nights of the week they're allowed to go and race.
Exactly. Yes. It is. How lucky I am to be single at the moment and not in a hurry to change that either. I just turn up whenever you guys need me. It's good fun. Hey, John, great to have you in the booth. Very rare that we get that treat. Please feel free to stop by more often, and good luck for Term 3 and of course the tail end of Term 2 as well, mate. Go well.
Thanks, boys. Well done for the work in the commentary, and congrats, Leachy, on your 3rd position, mate.
It led me straight into where I was going next, John. Thank you. Guy, so close, mate, because IG, you and Bevan boys both had multiple cracks at one another on that final lap. You both had your chance to secure 2nd, but you both equally tried to throw it away as well, and he just had your measure, mate. Well done. What a race that was.
Yeah, it was great fun. I thought I had got a gap on him with the 2nd last lap, or start of the last one, but yeah, I made a mess of it. It was good fun though. Very respectful racing.
have you enjoyed how have you enjoyed racing these cars throughout the course of the season, mate? And I mean, obviously we've taken a few cars to Road America before, but what are these things like around this circuit? It's an iconic track.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed these little cars. I don't really practice much. I just show up and run. But yeah, if you look after the tyres, they're great fun to drive, and they offer good racing with the slipstream. So, as John mentioned, I've got problems with when I'm driving in the spray in the rain, my iRacing crashes. So that puts a bummer on it. But yeah, it's been really good, well run series, and I've enjoyed myself.
As good as all of our PCS software is, and as good as all of our computers are, in terms of keeping up with the times and moving on a technological front in the right direction, unfortunately, I think everybody's gone back to the drawing board in some respects, because they didn't realise just how much of an impact the Tempest weather system was going to have, and just how much that was going to put each and everybody's computer through the paces. Hopefully you can get that sorted before term 3, mate, because we'd love to see some more wet weather racing, but at the same time, credit to the club, because if they were still throwing up wet weather servers, they wouldn't be able to accommodate you. In saying that, what are the plans for you going forward with regards to where you're going to pop up, what categories you're going to commit to, or is it hard to do that with your work schedule?
I'm not very organised, to be honest, so I normally wait till the last night before I decide what to run. But if these little cars are running again, I'll definitely have a go in them, and might give the GT3s a go. So, and I wanted to give a shout out to, it was good having father and son in here just before as well, the Baldwins.
Yeah. Look at that for a stitch up. Hey, how good.
There you go.
Now,
my Dad and Dave.
Yeah. Guy, just while we got you, mates, you mentioned GT3. I have to ask, Corvette or Mustang?
I don't know. I might stick with one of the older ones.
You'd be one of the few that are leaning in that. You're not the only one, I must say. He said that to us already, but you'd be one of the few that would be leaning in that direction. It'd be a good point of variance. It'd be a good discussion topic in the commentary box. There's no doubt about that.
You might give the Porsche a run. We'll see.
Watch this space. I cannot wait on the opening night of the new term to see how many Fords, how many Corvettes, how many people, because I think, Joe, I don't know how you feel about it from a committee standpoint, but the vibe I'm getting is that just in the way the Tempest weather system has brought people back into the fold in a couple of different categories that we run here, and the numbers have been the beneficiary of that, no doubt, on circuit in terms of grid size. But I feel as though this new era of GT3 that's looming may have the same effect.
I think you're right. We've gone through, hasn't been like a huge burst for growth, but we've been steadily growing, like with club members, the number of guys that are racing in certain series. Like, we're probably a long way off hitting the highs of the GT3 during COVID times. That was, we were having 3 servers with 30 cars. Like, it's,
that's right.
You really got to be doing something special to get them sort of numbers. And whilst it was great at the time, it was also hard work. We were a relatively young club at the time as well, and there was a lot of work by them early guys that made it work, which was great. But I think we're in a really good place at the moment with the spread of drivers we've got and the series. There seems to be a bit of something for everybody, and next season I promise you there's going to be more of it. Probably a wider range of cars over the course of the week, which is going to be great. So
nice.
Certainly looking for continued growth going forwards, and iRacing has been kicking it out of the park, like you say, with the Tempest. I know I've already worn out my first Mustang GT3. I'm just about ready to go and buy another one. It's the sound of it's just incredible. I love it. So it's reinvigorated me for GT3s. That's for sure. I might have to park the Ferrari for next season.
Yeah, why not? And here's the thing as well. I I don't want to speak out of place here, but I think given the boom in popularity and the boom in interaction that iRacing had from the motor racing world, both those that were already committed virtually and those real-world competitors that had nowhere else to turn to during COVID, I think there was a lot of pressure perhaps placed on them to say, look, what you've got's really good, but find that extra gear. Find a way to lift the game and entice us to stick around. And they've certainly done that. Hey, Guy. Yeah, Guy, what's next for you, mate?
Well, what have we got? One more round next week at the Concrete Jungle.
What are your thoughts on that, just quietly?
Well, yeah, it's one of those places where you're not really racing the other guys. You're just trying to keep it off the walls. So I'll try and keep it off the walls.
Stay alive.
My key for next week, if I have to give one, is qualifying. You're gonna if you don't qualify well, like you're going to be in a world of pain the whole race. You'll need a really, really big shovel, and you're also going to, like to get yourself out of the. But it's you're also going to be susceptible to getting caught up in other people's garbage. So a stout qualifying time is going to be absolutely paramount next week. So
yeah, definitely.
Indeed. I think we'll let you go on that note. Guy, mate, good luck for what's to come. I know Super Formula Light's not the only thing you're committed to in the sim racing circle, but as you say, you're not a full-timer either. You kind of just make your mind up on the go, and we love that spontaneity. It's well-versed because occasionally, and we see it all the time, we'll see it on Monday night because, the magic word Bathurst is in the title of where we're going for the supercars. We'll see a couple of ring-ins and a couple of cameos and a couple of people that aren't in championship contention and a couple of people that aren't running with championships in mind. They're just running for the sake that there's a race server at Bathurst, and by the sounds of it, you fit that description. So good luck with what's to come for the rest of this term, and look forward to following along closely with your progress, and obviously keeping a keen eye on what you do for term 3 as well, mate. Go well.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Brilliant from Guy Leach. Kurt Nomenson's here, Greg Heaney's here, Jamie Welch is here, Sam Chapman's here. Geez, where to start? Because all these blokes were in the wars at some point or another tonight. I think we might start with Jamie Welch, actually, because despite being in the wars on 2 occasions, Jamie, you still came away with the top 5, mate. That was a very solid drive in the end, but not without a couple of moments that would have no doubt frustrated you. Talk to me firstly about, I think it was lap 1, turn 1, was it not, that you got caught up in that inadvertently?
Yeah, that one, turn 3. Yeah, unfortunately, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The guy on the outside of me lost it and got me in the back right corner, and that was it. That was all I wrote. So, yeah, it was a very, very frustrating moment, to be honest. And I definitely had the speed to be able to do well tonight, which is even more frustrating. I'm pretty sure I got the fastest time in the server, so. Yeah, it was a little bit frustrating on my behalf, but and then I got a 5-second penalty for passing under yellows. But it was look, the passing under yellows thing I'm not really happy about, to be honest. I was talking, I was sort of having a look at it, and I didn't get the call when I'm in VR, where the other driver I know has got one of those massive yellow lights on his triples that he can see. I can't see, and I got the call after I was past him, and it's very frustrating to sort of get caught on a passing under yellow. And then I also had a bit of a look back at the server, and there was like 5 other drivers that also passed under yellow, so to be sort of the only person that was pinged is a little bit annoying. But apart from that, it sort of gave me a bit of motivation, to be honest. And I sort of got the old red mist going, and just decided to put my head down and get the job done. And I just wanted to build that 5-second gap, and ended up with a 20-second gap or something, I think it was in the end. So it was a good race, and I was really pushing. I'm not going to lie, I really wanted to get to those front guys, but unfortunately they just had that too much of a run on me from that turn 3 incident, and that was my race, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think there was a slight hiccup late in the piece as well. Get your thoughts on that. in a moment. However, you mentioned the keyword red mist, or the keywords rather. It can work one or two ways, can't it, mate? And you've been in this caper long enough to know this. It can either work totally against you because there's too much red mist and you just throw it away, or it can be your biggest inspiration to just put the head down and knuckle up, knuckle down, knuckle into it. And you did that tonight. You didn't let the early incident necessarily deter you or frustrate you. As you say, there were other things that frustrated you more throughout the course of that race, but you got on with the job, and you went about the mission of trying to salvage what you could and redeem it as best you could, and you certainly did that.
Yeah, well, that was it, to be honest. I'll be perfectly honest with you, Zach. I sort of got to the point where I didn't really give a damn if I put the car in the wall at 100 k's an hour. So that was probably a little bit of a reason for my speed as well. But yeah, no, it was like I was actually one of my better drivers I've had for a very long time. It was actually really good to sort of get in the groove and really sort of throw it around. And as much as it was really, really frustrating, it was also a really, really, really fun race. And yeah, to Joe's credit, these cars are absolutely fantastic, and I know we were talking earlier that we're not going to have them next season, and I'm just excited to see what we're going to have instead.
All right, very nice. I was going to say I've had moments like that, but not in the virtual rig. I had a rather heated drive home from Sydney a couple of weeks ago, back to Mum and Dad's house, and that was 2 hours of a couple of people holding their breath, making sure I pulled up in the driveway. Let me tell you, never drive cranky was the best advice I was given, and I've always ignored it for some reason. In saying that, sorry, Joe.
Truck driver.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I must admit, golden rule number one for me. Whenever I see one of you, big trucks coming along, I either get past you as quickly as I can and take off, or I make sure that if we're in bumper-to-bumper traffic, I haven't got one of them right up my quacker. That is my golden rule with regards to trucks, and there were a few instances in Monday morning's peak rush through Brisbane where I had to actually hop, skip and jump lanes when I really didn't want to, just to avoid being... I must admit, my peripherals are shot, so some cars, rather, look a little bit closer for comfort than what they actually are. And trucks obviously fit the description there because of the size, no doubt about that. Jamie, what's next for you, please? Because obviously a top 5 finish here, and you'll have your teammate back next week. It'll be Detroit. Do we see you on the grid?
Unfortunately not. After this round, like this is literally my last race for this season. I've got to go back to work and do some bits and pieces. So this was sort of like my last hurrah until next season. So I can't wait to see what sort of happens. I know Jackson will be back next race. But yeah, it was a bit disappointing not having him here tonight. But yeah, I know they were watching, and Gus was watching from whatever country he's touring.
Sweden. Yep.
Stockholm, there you go. Yeah,
you had great support in the chat thread, just none on the circuit.
Yeah, that's it. And it was a great fun time, and yeah, I always love running these cars. It's really disappointing that I don't get to, due to work commitments, I don't get to run every week. But I always run them when I can, and like I said, I'm looking forward to whatever Joe brings us next time.
What about next season, mate? Obviously, because you've got to work your leisure, your racing around those work commitments. Next term, will it be strictly the open wheelers, or will we see you come and have a dabble in the GT3s with the Corvettes and the Mustangs, or what else?
Generally, I do GT4s, and occasionally, so I sort of do it as a fun thing. Whatever I sort of feel like running, I'll run.
Yep.
I run the SRXs or whatever they were on Friday, and I ran GT3 on Monday, even though I sucked horribly. But yeah, it's just more of a fun thing for me. I like to jump in, and I am very competitive once I get in, don't get me wrong. I like to really get in there and have some fun. But yeah, apart from that, I just sort of run what I want. But if there's anything that's high downforce, that sort of draws me in every time.
Excellent. Very nicely done. And was I right in saying that you had a little bit of a moment towards the back end of the race as well? The charge was going so well, but then I think there was an off-track alert with your name next to it. What happened there?
Oh, I just centred a little bit too hard into the last corner, and did a bit of a bouncy bounce over top of some of the grass, to be honest. And apart from that, I sort of just had a little bit of a silent protest at the end and stopped in front of the line. So it was just one of those things. Nothing too serious, just a bit of a run-off.
We saw that and we had no idea what was going on. I must be perfectly honest. We thought, don't tell me he's run out of fuel. What the hell's going on here? We know that you're a better operator than that. So that was just your way of saying, hang on, fair's fair.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I said, I was really annoyed about that 5-second penalty when other drivers I knew were doing the same thing. So I sort of just let the time wind down a little bit before crossing the line.
Yeah, very nice. And still had a mountain of time to play with before the likes of Adam Proctor and Jake Slade came along as well. Wasn't to be, mate, but by gee, what a recovery that was. That was all the words in the world I was looking for, and I couldn't find recovery when I was looking for it earlier, talking about your charge back through the field. As we say, there's so many different ways to go about it, but to get on with the job and just go about making the best of a bad situation, you nailed it tonight, mate. Well done. Fastest lap of the race, up one on where you started, a top 5 finish. Good luck with work next week. We can't wait to see you on track next season.
Cheers, Zach. Thank you, and thank you, Joe, for putting on a great race.
Great work, mate. Yep. Stonking drive, unlucky at the start there, but I think Zach certainly summed it up perfectly, mate. You, did a great job tonight.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Perfect's not the word I'd use, Joe. I got a bit tongue-tied, but that's okay. Let's press on. Sam Chapman we'll get to in a moment, because being on committee level, we can get to him a little bit later. Greg Heaney's here. Kurt Nomenson's here as well. Kurt, you've been waiting patiently, mate, and I appreciate it. Up 4 spots on where you started, but still not straightforward.
No, not at all. I had a great race with Matto for 90% of that race. A lot of passing back and forth and just having a little bit of fun, I think. That was the main thing.
Indeed. And obviously, at least you made it to the checkered flag this time round, unlike Formula V earlier in the evening, mate, and did so rather well. I mean, let's pick it apart. Up 4 spots, that's the positive. What else do you take out of the night that was?
I definitely think that I did pretty well with my tyre wear. They weren't really hurting too much come the end of the race. I think I was just starting to push a bit too much with the tyres starting to wear out, but I think the tyre wear itself was pretty good overall, and yeah, I think I had a lot of time that I could have found if I had just been able to push the car a little bit safer. I think that was the main thing. I was pushing too hard and not safe enough, and so I was going off track and losing that time again.
Indeed. No, very well done. What about strategy, mates? How did we break it down? It was a 2-stopper for most, but did you go early or did you go late?
I think I went a lap earlier than most, but no, I think I went about the same as everyone else and took tyres in the first one, so by the end of the race they were definitely starting to hurt, but not too much. And I think that's what kept me on the track, that I didn't kill the tyres and put myself in a fence.
Indeed. All right. So look at what's coming up. I mean, in the end, you had a fair gap back to Mark McNamara, and John Baldwin was a fair way up the road as well. So it was pretty clear late in the piece that 14th was where you were going to finish. Look ahead for me next week. V's at Magello into these things in Detroit. I know where I'd prefer to be, and that's Magello with a little bit more runoff area. But what are your thoughts on both?
Yeah, I did a little bit of IndyCar at Detroit earlier on, just before the end of season with the main season, so I don't mind Detroit in IndyCar. It's a lot of fun actually, so I think that could definitely help. I kept it out of the fence for the most part there until I got hit by someone else, so no, I think Detroit is going to be a lot of fun in these things. A little bit smaller than IndyCar, so I can run it a little bit closer to the wall, and I'm really looking forward to Magello. That's going to be a lot of slipstreaming down the front straight for the most part, and a lot of side-by-side with how wide that track is.
Indeed. And as far as Super Formula Lights are concerned, I mean, there's still a car that a few of us are getting our head around, but are you feeling any more comfortable with it now than what you were at the start of the season?
Yeah, I've started to come to grips a little bit better with the car, so I'm actually really enjoying it. And I think with a bit more seat time in just officials, if these ever come back, then I might be able to run a bit further up than 14th and have a bit more fun with the guys.
All right. Looking forward to seeing what comes of next week for you immensely, mate. And obviously that all starts on Monday night. We're excited about that. And then a 2-week break to put the tools down. We'll talk to you more about that next week. In the meantime, thanks for hanging on round, and I appreciate that. Have a good night.
No worries.
Greg Heaney, unfortunately, that was a case of what might have been tonight, because there were a couple of instances there where, unfortunately, we turned the camera in your general direction and we saw you going the wrong way. Slippery, sliding sort of night around Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Oh, I was getting the new shiny livery on the stream at some point.
Yes.
I have to get it on there somehow. Yeah, no, look, the night that could have been, as you said, I think it was at turn 5, I think, maybe, lap 1 with Adam. He didn't know I was there. I kind of took evasive action and made sure I didn't destroy his car and ended up off in the grass. But look, that is what it is. And then a few little bits and pieces. I think I was probably a little bit hot-headed, coming through the kink on the same lap, and put myself around and just basically just parked it and just don't move and just wait, and then you just flick spin it around and then off we went again. Managed to gain a few spots back here and there, and then had a coming together with Brett. Unfortunately, that towards the end, that is, unfortunately that killed his race, and it slowed me down as well, because of a rejoin from another car that was, so going to have a chat with the stewards about that one, but we'll leave that in their hands. I'm not going to bring it up here.
Well, actually, to be fair, I only noticed very late in the piece that Brett had actually parked up for the night. So you're saying that you saw the incident head on, did you?
Well, not head on. He was in my mirror.
Okay.
So there was
we might come across that during the replay here, Joe, because again, we mentioned that Brett had parked up, but we hadn't seen what had happened or why or anything like that. So hopefully a little bit of clarification on that in just a few moments. In the meantime, going back
lap 26, if you're looking for it, Joe.
Lap 26, and we're looking for Brett Barker, was it?
We are.
Yeah.
We are indeed. Because unfortunately, Greg, you know as well as we do that he was in some sort of contention in the podium positions of the championship coming into tonight. We've just picked it up on the start of lap 25 here, folks. Sorry, the end of lap 25, start of lap 26. So here we go. Into pit lane, and so it's going to come somewhere after the pit stop for Brett Barker. Disappointing way for his night to end, especially considering the permutations, if you like, boys, with regards to where he was in the championship. He'd been one of the star performers of the season, Greg.
Unfortunately, I hadn't checked where he was relative in the standings.
Yep.
I mean, I am sorry that what happened. I certainly didn't mean it, but
that's all right. Waiting for it here. Is it McNamara just ahead here? Let's have a look.
Yep.
We'll stay with this. We'll watch this incident, and then everybody at home can make up their own mind on that. Obviously, we haven't heard from Brett. We wish him well for next week, because he's still a chance at the top 5 finish in the championship, still a chance at the top 3. In fact, if everything goes right for him, in Detroit. So,
unfortunate. That was just a zig and a zag that went the wrong way. That's all.
Yep. And as a result,
rejoining with the rejoin in front of me at the pace I was carrying, I wasn't sure which way Mark was going to go. So I'm like, we'll leave it up to the stewards to decide. But as to if the penalty stands, if the penalty does or doesn't, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, and that cost me a bit of time in the straight line. I think I lost about 8 kilometres an hour in the car after that. I had Fred in my ear for the whole race, and he's like, yeah, there doesn't look to be any damage on the car, but I reckon it was probably something in the back end that copped a bit of a hit. As to exactly what it was, not 100% sure.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, although, let's be perfectly honest, that incident didn't put Brett Barker where he was. The incident at the start of the race, he was caught up at turn 1, and that's why he was running so far down the order for much of the night. It was compromised from the outset. He just didn't have as much luck on the charge back through the field as Jamie Welch did. Righto, let's put this one behind us. I can update you on some championship standings now, ladies and gentlemen, because Adam Lavis has updated Super Formula Lights. 451 for Jackson Rayhana, 363 for Mark Gomez now, 320 for Aidan Luthwaite. No drop round points available there for him now. So that margin for Rayhana is still 88 points. And he's 12 shy of the 100 there over Mark Gomez, who's now second. Adam Lavis has jumped up to 4th, 319, 311 for David Baz and 304 for Guy Leach, and that unfortunate result for Brett Barker has dropped him down the order big time. Down 4 spots, down to 7th, 294 points. Matt Schmidtke 8th, 255. John Baldwin up to 9th, 239, and the bloke we're about to chat to, Sam Chapman, on 201 points, making up the top 10. Oh boy. All right, Greg, let's quickly put this one behind us in the rearview mirror and turn our attention to next week, mate. I mean, obviously, Formula V I'm already chopping at the bit for from the Jello, but you guys around Detroit, do we see a couple of your teammates rejoin the fold for that final round? It is 3 races. There's an invert thrown in there. We know the risks associated with street racing and the concrete canyon that awaits us, but still, what a great way to finish an open world championship.
Oh, most definitely. I'll see if I can wrangle a couple of the boys up to jump in. If not, it will just be me again.
I mean, let's be perfectly honest, Aidan's still a chance at finishing top 3 in the championship here, if he can find the time to get into the server next week.
Well, that's true. I might have to remind him of that. That'll probably entice him a little bit more to jump on in. He didn't jump in tonight because he's in Le Mans mode for the weekend, same as Jackson as well. So, I think everybody else is currently in that mode at the moment too. So.
Well, that's exactly right. Either Lamar or Watkins Glen. Yeah, I mean, Watkins Glen for the officials and Lamar for the GSRC Endurance Championship on Sunday. So, all right, very nicely done, Greg. Thanks for sticking around, mate. Hard luck tonight, and good luck with when you go and have a chat to the stewards as well, and look forward to catching up with you next week.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Righto, Chapo, finish us off, mate. It was going so well. You're putting the pressure on Jake Slade, and then turn 6 bit you again.
Yeah, I didn't take tyres at all throughout the race.
Here we go.
So that I'm gonna blame that. The little spin around, I was pushing them pretty hard. I think part of it, I was okay for a lot of the race because I was fuel saving for most of it. Because of my earlier error, which required an early pit stop. So the only way to make it, I had to save probably a lap or 2 of fuel, or probably a couple of laps actually of fuel over the stint to get it home without pitting again. But even better, that little incident, I was sitting on 15 out of 17 incident points for half the race, and that one tipped me over. So a disaster class there. Probably about 30 points as well, really, because you're going from sort of about 7th to all the way back down. It was a little bit grim towards the end there, but it's all on me.
Interesting. Do you want the other bit of good news, Chapo?
A bit of good news. I'd love some bloody good news. That'd be awesome.
I have updated standings from Formula V in front of me as an indication as to how long the post-race show has been. Glenn Cito at L519, Sam Chapman 496, Adam Lavis 481. 38 points covers the top three. Not much change in what that was at the start of the night, despite a very hectic night in Florida at the Sebring Raceway Club circuit. Ryan Tate 381. So basically, yeah, forget about everybody else because they are so far behind you three. It's not funny. 381 for Tate, 371 for Baker, 338 for Phil King, 329 for Hendo, 328 for Noble, charging home with the wet sail. John Merritt, the round winner in 9th, 326. And Brendan Neal on 309 points. Consecutive round wins for John Merritt, cleaning up 88 points tonight, 2 of the 3 wins, and a 4th in the middle as well. So, Chapo, what is it a love-hate relationship you got with these cars at the moment? Do you like them? Where are you at with them?
Oh, yeah, it is a bit of a love-hate relationship. I mean, part of it is, like, I'd sort of jump into them while I'm having a yarn to you guys on, you know, after these still, really, and try and see if I can get a quali lap in. But, so it's not like I've been putting much time into it, so I can't really expect much. But I think I did try and put a bit of time in at one point, and I couldn't quite, I guess, get there. And oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's that rear just giving up. So, yeah, probably not my favourite. I think I like a little bit less downforce generally, and just sort of seems to suit me. And I think sort of I struggle with how hard to push with these, because you can push them so much harder than anything else that I drive. But yeah, like, I don't mind. They produce really good racing, and you know, while it is easy to sort of go deep or shoot up or, you know, that sort of thing, it does produce really good racing, and it's a sort of good intermittent between, you know, the big boys, which are probably a bit too hard to control for a big group, and you know, something a bit smaller like the Bs and Skippies and that sort of thing. So yeah, love hate.
All right, what are your thoughts on Detroit next week to finish it off? And how excited are you, along with the rest of the committee, to launch Term 3 and show everybody what that's going to look like this time next week?
Oh, of course, I'm very excited to launch Term 3. I'm hoping to have a decent enough finish in Term 2 to finalise that. We've got red hot with in production cars as well, also with Mav and with Ellis, so that battle was on. But yeah, no, Term 3's looking good. We've got a good thing ahead. Got to plan some tracks out and some cars, but I won't leak any of that yet. But yeah, a week off actually wouldn't be a bad idea. Have a weeknight. I've ended up being either in committee meetings or racing most weeknights at the moment. I might have to take a week off, do some cooking. I don't know, gardening. I don't know, something outside maybe.
Gardening leave.
Yeah, gardening leave. But yeah, I could do some gardening leave. Yeah, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to leave the bank.
We're very excited.
Jackson's just chimed in too. He's looking forward to next week.
He's been looking forward to next week since the calendar launched. He really has. I don't know if there's anyone in the club that loves the streets of Belle Isle, Detroit, Michigan as much as
me,
Jackson Brayhana.
Wow. Well, if he loves the streets of Detroit, Michigan, everybody else is in so much trouble. It's not funny.
Yeah. It's a bit like when Denchi rocks up and says, "Oh, look, I'm not really keen on the circuit." We still know he's going to tear it to shreds. Jackson, on the other, and when he turns up and says he loves the circuit, you're already looking at the battle for second. Same with Brayhana when we get to Detroit next week. Going to be fantastic. And Chapo, there'll be a few lining up on Sunday for 6 hours of Le Mans as part of the GSRC Endurance Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be good. Le Mans always a good track. Hit the Majors 24 last week as well, so I don't know if anyone competed in that. Got a bit of practice in. But yeah, no, that will be a good event. I'm not sure what the responses are like at this point, but yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to race around Le Mans? In endurance, it is the perfect endurance track. Not so good for V's, as we found, but perfect endurance.
Well, I mean, I didn't mind it. That being said, a lot of people fan of Sebring Club tonight, mate, and you might have even sold me on it after all, so well done. And looking forward to seeing what's coming up in Term 3 as far as our schedule is concerned. But of course, more immediately, we've got plenty of great action coming up on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Chapo, thank you. Joe, thank you as well for deputising the 11th hour tonight and saving the day.
No problem. We didn't have schedules and stuff for the week. It was very short, sharp, getting the stuff to make it work tonight. So we've done what we can, but we've got the sponsor thingy we can go through. We'd like to thank Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Loadsy Racing, M-Wave, Flash Graphics, and of course Club's title sponsor, Pure Tasmanian Spreyton Cider. Yeah, without these guys, we can't do what we do. So hats off to them. Yeah, thank you to you, Zach, as well, mate. It's been great. Been a good night. So it's certainly different on this side of the curtain when you're back here with me. But I hope that we've done a reasonable job of it. And yeah, I think it's been a great night of racing.
Mate, you've done a great job, and in the absence of a visual schedule, I'll still run through it for the benefit of everybody at home, courtesy of the Google Drive document 4, and thanks to Adam Lavis, who compiles this season on season. It's not a straightforward sort of job to do. Tomorrow night, he will be in the chair. Nick Fodiatis alongside him, round 9 of the Stock Car Series. The SRX cars, of course, they'll be going around the Eldora Speedway. It's a dirt round, that's why Joe's on circuit and Adam is not. Race 1 getting underway at around 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and they'll have a 15-minute race, a 20-minute race reverse grid, and then a 20-minute race reverse top 10. Saturday, Mountain Men takes us in the Williams FW11 to Mount Panorama. 32 laps there, and that's preceded by a 60-minute qualifying getting underway 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And of course, that used to be 8:30 back in the daylight saving period, and probably will be again come October. Don't get me started on it, it's too late in the night. But of course, at the moment, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 6 o'clock Western. Sunday, server opens 9 a.m, race 11 p.m. to 5 p.m. Round 3 of the GSRC GT Endurance Championship. Of course, you'll have the hypercars, and you'll also have GT3. It'd be interesting to see actually what happens with the GT3 layout come Term 3, and whether or not you can run the Mustang or the Corvette somewhere in there as well. And will there be some changes to the vehicle eligibility and the vehicle availability? It is put up there by the guys that are looking after GSRC Endurance. We'll find out. But Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Good luck to all competing. Of course, running concurrently with the real world 24-hour at the Circuit de la Sarthe, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Give you a couple of pointers for the weekend ahead. Into grand final week we go. Monday night, June 17. Make a note of this. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, we get underway with the opening race of the night. It'll be the Super 2, Super 3 combined split from Mount Panorama Bathurst. 45 minutes, right? Not the usual 25, 45 minutes for them on Monday night. Around the best 6.213 kilometres of motor racing real estate anywhere in the land. It is great bitumen, no doubt. Throws up the best and worst of times, but Monday night will be championship defining. Greg Favell has one hand on Super 2, but Super 3 still well and truly alive. But as a result of the extended race server there, the start of GT3 from here, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Road America, bumps back to 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. It'll be 90 minutes the duration there, as we get the third and final 90-minute enduro in the can for Term 2. Waste Options GT3. We're bringing you the Pro Split Monday night. Adam Lavis and I with you, and we'll be here till about 11:30. Looking forward to it immensely. Tuesday night, Adam Lavis and I are going to be back with you again. The Van Ryn Cup finale, Loadsy Racing up and comers. That one takes us to Phillip Island this time round. Hallelujah, not Winton. Phillip Island, Ferrari GT3's first up, up-and-comers, Formula V's second up, and then Mazda MX-5's third up. All 30-minute quality, 30-minute race servers, same as it has been the last couple of terms. We've brought you their grand finales. Make a note of that. We're with you live from 7:20 Eastern Standard Time. As a result of that, the GT1 finale and the penultimate round will be run concurrently back-to-back the following week. First up from Mount Panorama, then on to Watkins Glen, but they won't be broadcast, of course. 7:50 to 8:30 and 9:20 to 10 p.m. the expected race times there from those two venues, and 40-minute races to boot. Next Wednesday night, Daniel Correa back with Liam Banks to bring you the production car finale in the Toyota 86s from Interlagos, Brazil. And that'll be 2 sprint races there for you from 7:20 Eastern Standard Time. Well, sorry, 7:25 Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, we get stuck into at 8:40 the final round of GT4 from Phillip Island over 60 minutes. Make a note of that because they've now got rain available, but I don't know if it's going to be rolled out next week. It might be next term, as the boys were saying. Thursday night, Formula V from Magello. First time there for the Vs. For Spreyton side of Thursday night, Motorsport's grand finale. 6 races on the agenda next Thursday night. Very excited about this from 7:25 Eastern Standard Time. Daniel Correa and I with you to bring you Spreyton side of Thursday night Motorsport. Open wheel Thursday. Open wheel night on our platforms across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Magello first up for 3 races, same format as per usual. 3-race super sprint finale for Spreyton side of Super Formula Lights, the wings and slicks component of the night from the Detroit Grand Prix of Bellarmine circuit in Michigan. And race 1 will be 15 minutes, race 2 will be 20 minutes, race 3 will be 35. There is a reverse top 10 grid in race 2 as per usual. We're very excited about all that and more on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. But here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, it was that guy on screen, Mark Gomez, getting his first win of the campaign, and a very commanding and dominant one it was too. At least I think it was his first. I haven't quite done the maths on that to work it out, but I'm pretty sure it was. But a commanding win. He won it by 5.25 seconds in the end. And earlier in the night, John Merritt picked up the honours once more in Spreyton side of Formula V. But that championship, a 3-way fight between 2 of our own and the Pulse Tuning stable, Glenn Cito Riddell against Sam Chapman and Adam Lavis. Boy, oh boy, we cannot wait for next Thursday night when we get to Magello. But there's so much to get through before then, and we hope you can join us for that more on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Just on the subject of the Le Mans 24-hour, it is on Stand Sport this weekend. We're talking about the real world thing, the World Endurance Championship. Practice 3 is live at the moment. Hyperpole is at 3:45 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then, of course, there'll be more practice at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. The warm-up Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. The race from 11 o'clock, starting at midnight, 1 hour later, of course, in recent years than it has been in the past. And will continue right through until midnight, Sunday night into Monday morning. And of course, also this weekend, supercars in Darwin, NASCAR from Iowa. And of course, there was supposed to be MotoGP, but there isn't because the Kazakhstan round's been moved back to September. So, whether it's virtual or real world stuff this weekend, we hope you enjoy it. And we hope you've enjoyed Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of Gentleman Sim Racing Club as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Thanks for hanging in there for over 3.5 hours. And we look forward to more of the same into grand final week. But before that, don't forget to join Adam and Nick tomorrow night from Eldora for the NASCARs. In the meantime, on behalf of Joe Baldwin and the rest of the broadcast commentary and production team here, I look forward to your company Monday night for the start of grand final week for Term 2 of 2024. In the meantime, I'm Zach Caden bidding you a very good night. Thanks for your company as always, Australia.